This is Droid Bishop, and you are listening to Two Poor Bastards.
Bastards contains explicit content and drunken ramblings. Listener discretion is advised. You are listening to Two Poor Bastards, where two friends get drunk, talk whiskey, and their favorite pop culture obsessions. This is Eric.
And this is Kyle.
Welcome to episode 62. I did the math. I figured it out.
That's a good job.
I was only 7 away from like the best episode. You guys should have waited to have me on. I wanted to be that episode.
We can put the brakes on.
Yeah. We have a special guest tonight, Night Audit.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Welcome to the show. Part
Thank
of
you
the
for having me.
Nitrowave TC alumni. Exciting stuff going.
How would you like us to refer to you as?
You can call me Sean.
Okay.
That's
Sean.
Yeah.
Discovered that most people just actually prefer their
first name.
actual names.
I want someone to just say, like, call me by this name. It's
Mr.
not really my first name.
Mr. Audit. You know, something weird.
Call me Sean. My name's really Greg, but
Yeah. Sean.
Okay, not way off topic. So, we're going to be drinking Weller tonight. Nothing new, even though it is whiskey season and there's new stuff coming out. But
I've never had it before.
I was figured because last night we were doing a Sean, Chris, and Mike. We did a thing for Mike's show, and we had Buffalo Trace. So I figured I'd get out the Weller, do a little bit different, get a little weeded whiskey in there for tonight's episode. I just want to say, please get a hold of us on the social medias. And again, for Instagram, it's TPB underscore cast. And then regular, just Two Poor Bastards on Twitter. We'd like hearing from you. Again, suggestions. And I just want to say, and this is a crazy thing I'll share with you, Sean. So we got hooked up with a synthwave beer maker.
What?
Yeah. So that's the power of social media, and I'm really digging that
What are they
aspect of
called?
it. So they're gonna send us some booze. They're called here. I want to get the name of it real quick. So it's a Philadelphia producer, Scald Brewing.
Like Scald.
So this is gonna be a new beer.
Scald, like burn your hand.
Yeah.
No, like SKALD.
Okay.
So a little shout out to Scald Brewing, and they're going to send us some stuff, and we're going to drink it, and it's going to be weird because we've never drank beer on the show ever. So
That would have been cooler if you said it in our life ever.
I've
Well,
never had
unfortunately,
beer
I-
before.
beer.
I could lie and say that, but that's not the truth, unfortunately. So that's the power of social media. We like stuff like that, or suggestions. You want to be on Night Ride or be on the show, just reach out and let us know. We're always...
You know someone who you think we might want to have on the show?
Absolutely. So we're going to talk with you, Sean, about your music. We'll talk about the show coming up.
Yeah.
So by the time people listen to this, it will be past tense. But for us recording this, it's future tense.
Yes.
So this Saturday, it's the 9th is when the show is? Is that?
Yep. Yeah.
Amsterdam Bar. Going to be you, North Innsbruck, and Denotive. Should be an exciting show. I'm excited for it.
Amsterdam's a tight place, so.
And we don't have to go that far.
No, that's even better.
It's
It's very close.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very happy about this. Uber it. It still will cost me as much to go to Minneapolis, but because I think when we went to the Tycho show, it was like $15 bucks, something like that. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Whatever. Anyways, so we're going to get into the whiskey tasting. So, Sean, are you a whiskey drinker in a general sense?
Yeah, I do. I do like whiskey.
Now, how do you do whiskey?
How do I do it?
How do you do it?
If I order it at a bar, I get it depending on what it is. Usually I'm like a Maker's on the Rocks.
There's a whole
guy.
lot of asterisks and whatnot to this.
There's lots of, but like, I mean, I like it neat sometimes depending if it's, I have a bottle of, I mean, it's Scotch, but like the Lagavulin from, you know,
Okay. Yep.
Ron Swanson drank, like
Yeah.
that I would just put a little bit of water in, and that's it. You know,
Brave man, I won't even drink that.
it tastes like an old shoe, but in a good way, if that makes sense.
Like a good old
like a
shoe.
good old shoe.
Not a bad one.
Yeah.
A good one.
It's been allowed to dry out first.
I had a bottle of Macallan, whichever. Like I probably spent way too much money on it, and I actually didn't like it that much. But that also kind of tasted like an old shoe.
What?
Yeah, I thought.
Okay, I mean
But
that's everyone's palate is
I
different.
mean, this was also years ago, so who knows? Palates
knows?
change.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
They
I'm
do
usually
need
a
guidance.
Maker's Mark or a Bullet or Buffalo Trace I've had a couple times, which I do like.
Good man. So we're drinking Weller. It's produced by the same distillery as Buffalo. It's produced by Buffalo Trace. That's one of their brands. This is a wheat whiskey. So it's what is it? What's the mash bill on this bad boy? Typically,
Percentages, no one really knows for sure, I don't think, because Buffalo Trace usually keeps that kind of, like with their other stuff, it'll be like, this is the high rye mash bill, or this is the low rye mash bill, but the secondary grain that goes into this is wheat. So corn, wheat, barley.
Yep.
Wheat replaces the rye.
Gotcha.
So some people say it'll give it a sweeter, smoother profile. This is what gets turned into Pappy Van Winkle eventually after it gets old enough.
yeah,
It's wheated.
it is the original wheated whiskey.
Some people say that the wheat contributes it to being able to age longer than other whiskeys.
Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna do our sniffing.
It smells good.
Yeah,
It smells like whiskey.
that's good. Hopefully,
You know, it smells smooth.
I would almost say it smells smooth with a V. Just saying. Smooth.
Yeah, it's just got that classic
It smells like I could drink it.
Yeah.
attempt to do. Come on now. Oh, you can't smell it. Oh, can you?
I can't smell a thing right now
Oh
because
yeah,
I'm sick.
sick boy. Sick
I'm
boy
coming
over
off
there.
a cold enough where I can smell, so it does smell good. You got to look at the legs. You guys taught me that.
There you go. And that's funny because we rarely talk about it.
It was
on
just
show.
the one episode I listened to
It's
most
like there's a
recently.
couple episodes where we talk about legs.
Well, this has got good ones.
Yeah.
I picked this bottle up by a place's mistake. So I had ordered, I think like a 175, and they were out. And they said, "Well, we've got 3 bottles of regular stuff. Would you do that instead?" I go, "Yes." So I bought 3 bottles all at once, and it's
Shit.
lasted me. And I've still got a liter of it sitting on my cupboard.
Now, is the challenge that we talk and drink the whole bottle?
No,
Okay.
No.
'Cause you've got
been
so
there,
much.
done that.
been there,
so-
done that. Yeah, no, we're not. This is not a getting sloshed night.
If it's a weeknight, we've got work. in the
Yeah,
morning.
we got stuff to do.
Yeah.
So let's give it. It smells good. It smells like Weller.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. All right.
Clear
let's
for
taste.
takeoff. I can drink.
Take
this
it out,
thing?
do it,
All right,
yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good.
Smooth,
Yeah. Smooth.
real smooth.
With my completely congested head here, I can still taste that it is a good whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I'm really getting is a little bit of caramel and like golden raisin.
Yeah. There is a little bit of spice on there, a little bit of baking spice on the finish.
A little bit of floor spice.
Yeah.
Makes everything nice.
I feel like my palate's not refined enough to be like picking these things out. I just go, yeah, that tastes good.
It'll taste like whatever you think it tastes like.
Yeah,
though,
I mean, you
so
can
there's
describe
that.
whatever you want to it. If you
Like I've said some wild shit about the way that some things have tasted.
the funniest thing is that one of the nerd things that we do is we go to whiskey tastings, and like people will be sitting around next to us and they go, "You guys look interesting. We'll sit down with you guys," and he'll throw some crazy shit out there, and then like golden grams and some other stuff, and people are like looking at him funny at first, and they're like, "Now that you say that, that's all I could taste."
All you had to do was point it out, and then
Point it out, and then
yeah.
that's the thing that people.
That's the power I have over people. That's my suggestion right there.
And you're like, I was bullshitting. I didn't taste any Golden Grams in that. Just wanted to see if these guys could be
You know what? Now
duped.
that you say that, that's going to be my mission for the next one here. Is I'm just going to throw some off the wall stuff out there and see
You gotta
what people say.
Be prepared.
I did get a hint of cinnamon. I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You feel
Okay.
cinnamon?
And I'm not lying to make you guys believe that that's there. I did get that. If I could put any flavor specifically on it.
I get that spice again on the finish.
I think that's it. That spice is what that's the closest I can relate it to.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
But you know what? You're saying it, and I'm recognizing it in my palate now that you say
There you
it.
go.
It's spicy and it's
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, I like it.
But there's no rye in this, so that's interesting.
No,
So
it could still be spicy.
Is that what usually gives it that kind of spice? Is the rye? Okay.
yeah, because like
Or
buffalo,
not spicy, but just like spice is.
Yeah, not like
yeah,
not hot.
no, like again, like a baking spice or not like cayenne pepper in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Paprika.
Paprika, yeah, ghost pepper.
What if Ghost made an album called Pepper?
I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, and I savor these kinds of things. So, like, this is a time of year where a lot of things come into town. You start to have access to some of these fall releases because some whiskeys are only actually released in the fall. But that's becoming more and more allocated and more rare as the whiskey craze continues to climb.
Whiskey crisis, I believe I would like to call it.
It's a whiskey crisis. For those that love whiskey and could find a bottle of something that was $30, you can't find it anywhere. Like this. This is really is considered a shelf turd. This is not even anything that's
Really?
fancy. It's a $24 bottle of whiskey.
I have once upon a time, when it was more available, gotten a bottle of this shit for under $20.
Wow. What is driving that? Just
So there's the
Idiots like us who want nothing more than this.
okay.
yeah. So part of it is the supply and demand aspect. So this is 6 years old, 5 years old. I'm not sure how much they age this
Probably
particular.
around 6. Be my
Around
best
6
guess.
years. So, how do you anticipate that there's going to be a whiskey crisis where everyone wants your shit?
Yeah.
And so a lot of distilleries were not making enough to meet this current demand. They're making it like the regular stuff. And now people are like, whiskey's the greatest. I think whiskey now is like the liquor of choice for America or some shit like that. Like people are bourbon
Is that
crazy.
all within the last 5-10 years or more than
I'd say
that?
within the last 5, probably.
Okay.
5, yeah. So there's stuff you'd be able to get on the shelf pretty easily that now forget about it. And
Then, an allocation on top of that.
yep.
Sure.
So like what would happen is like maybe there would be a rare bottle and it would go to the shelf and actually sit there, and because no one really cared about it, it would actually sit there forever, and you might actually have a chance to pick it up if that was your particular thing, even though that establishment might only get one bottle of that year. It would like sit there for months and no one would look at it. But now it's like people are like vultures, man. They're like they've got a route that they go into and travel and know like the delivery dates for when stuff is being delivered and
I had no idea that this was going on because I'm always like, I'm gonna get some whiskey. I'm gonna get that Maker's Mark, or I'm gonna get that Bullet. That one of the two. They're always there.
yeah.
It's true. They are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll always be there.
So, and there's also like the thing with like a lot of crap distilleries. So what they're doing is they're, aging something maybe up to 2 years, slapping a pretty label on it and charging $60 to $80 for really hot garbage because the supply or the demand for it is so much. But you go back to appreciate, what you mentioned again, like Wild Turkey. Those are very consistent, readily available things that you can get, and satisfied with that. Like I fully come to expect at some point in time that the only whiskey I'm going to be able to drink is Wild Turkey 101. Like at some
I
point,
like the way you started that out. I wish the only thing that I could drink is this shit right here.
yeah,
Just give me the Weller.
give me the Weller, but you can't find it. So
I would drink this shit every day if I could get it.
It's really good. It's really good.
it is a daily drinker for sure.
And this is the cheapest version of all of them, and this is the one that I prefer.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And there's other versions of this. So there's a higher proof Weller Antique 107.
Yep.
It's a red label, and it's just a higher proof.
Sure.
And then there's
There's 12 year,
12 year.
which has a black label on it.
Yep.
And then they've done 2 special releases beyond that. They've had the Choose Your Perfect Bourbon one, which we got to sample, and I
Yeah.
thought was fantastic.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
And then the other one that just recently came out was Full Proof.
Okay.
And that's pretty common amongst a lot of the Buffalo Trace brands, is that they'll have kind of like the entry basic thing of it, and then it gets fancier,
Sure.
aged more, whatever that particular thing is. And then there's Buffalo Trace itself. There's kind of this dark theory that they basically hold back stuff to drive up the want for it. Because again, like Weller it's aged 6 years. I can't believe that it's not everywhere. It's really frustrating. Mm-hmm. I get like some of the special releases, the fall releases, where so that now what's come out is the antique collection. So Buffalo Trace specifically, they'll have very special bottlings of what should be their best, fanciest thing, and it's a very limited quantity. Comes out in fall. That's it. It never goes to the shelf ever. It retails now. It's going for $100 a bottle, I think, is what I saw. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was 80 was the suggested price.
I think they bumped it to 100 this year. But the aftermarket can go $1,600.
What?
Yeah, for that
You
stuff.
can go higher than that, depending on what year it is and what brand of it is.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit for some of that stuff.
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
So the whole whiskey game, the whole thing. It's
So you're saying I need to like stalk these places and
No.
pick up some of these bottles to resell for a crazy amount of money?
No,
and
don't
make
be
bank?
that person.
don't be that guy.
Because you're the person who makes it, so I can't get it.
Sure, yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I want to drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want the money.
And there are plenty of people that do that. It really pisses me off. Oh, it pisses everybody off that likes to drink whiskey. They're just basically there for the hunt. Yep. With Minnesota, you basically have to get in with the liquor store. You've got to do a bunch of stuff and go to tastings and things like that.
Yeah.
And then you can enter into a raffle for the opportunity to purchase a bottle.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
At a
Lame.
bumped up price.
Yeah.
Usually.
You have to pay to get into it too.
Yeah.
You got to pay to get into it, which is usually about, $80.
People listening to this can't see how hard I just rolled my eyes at that. but
Yeah, that was you
Nope.
almost
They
fell
might have
over.
heard it.
Yeah. And then you do the tasting, that sort of thing, and then you enter into a raffle, and you get to, if you get drawn, you can choose one of the offerings,
Sure.
and then that's at a 15% or 20% markup on top of the suggested retail most of the time. So it's as Kyle says all the time, it's dumb.
Yeah.
It's just a
No, I'm with
dumb
ya.
thing to get into.
is
Don't get
dumb.
into whiskey. That's
I
all
don't think
got.
I'm going to even try this year.
You're not even so if the one we did last year, you're not even going to bother with it.
I don't think so. I'm
Wow.
not going to stand out in the cold again.
So last year we stood out. It was like maybe 10 degrees.
Where was this at?
a place?
Oh, okay. We can't talk about it.
But we were well prepared.
Yeah.
We knew what we were getting into, and we got there early like we should. So
Yeah, like an
we
hour.
did our part.
Yeah.
We knew what we were getting into.
Sure.
We accepted it. We did our part.
Well, it's like
And I'm okay with that.
record store day. I haven't done it in the last couple of years, but prior to that, there was always a
Yeah.
handful of releases that I really wanted, so I'd be one of those guys out there
Yeah.
in line in March, April, whenever it is.
Yeah.
It's still cold usually.
Yeah. So, we went out. It must have been 10 degrees. We got there an hour early.
Okay.
And there was already like 20 people in line. And people were camping, literally had like chairs squatting,
Yeah.
which we'll see how it goes this year and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not really, we have a thing going where it's not so stressful. So I just might stick with that.
We have an okay thing, but I've had beef with our okay thing too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other, and you just have to be in a know. So anyways, the whiskey game is a dumb game. It's just dumb. So don't do it. That's what I suggest to stick with the stuff that you can get because it's good, it's dependable. There's not much variation in it. So stick with it because it's good.
Get on our yearly release rant.
Yeah.
Oh, we love
it's
this
interesting.
stuff, but we hate all of it.
I didn't realize that that was that kind of market for it. I had no idea.
Insane.
It's real bullshit.
It's
what it is.
real
Here's a dumb
bullshit.
question: does that work for like vodka and gin too? Are
No.
there people that go nuts
No.
about like I've
There
been
is-
waiting in line to get this?
There is nothing, as far as I know, for any other spirit right now that gets that kind of draw for those kind of things.
My understanding is like if you want to get into a game for spirits that's undervalued and underappreciated, it's rum. Because you could buy 30-year-old rum. And apparently it's supposed to be amazing and all this stuff. And it's $30. You spend $30 and get a 30-year-old bottle of rum. So that's what I hear.
That sounds suspect to me, too. I feel like somehow they may not be regulated the same as whiskey. So if you're putting an eyedrop of 30-year-old shit in there,
It, like,
maybe they
counts.
can call
It's
it
hard.
that.
It's hard to say. I don't know. That's
I don't
just
like rum.
yeah. See, that's the problem.
I like rum, but it's so situational. For instance, I went to Puerto Rico years ago.
Well, that's where you drink
Took
rum.
back. I mean, like you drink rum the whole time. You drink really shitty light beer on the beach, and then you get rum and pina coladas or whatever you're getting, right? But my friends and I bought a bunch of rum to take back because we're like, it's so good. I still have some of those bottles completely unopened, and that was 2012, I think, is when we went. And I just move them every time I move. I go, I guess I still got this rum. I just because in Minnesota,
drinks
I'm
rum?
not like, you guys want a rum drink right now? It's never.
Yeah, you don't want to break out the tiki cups
Yeah,
and go
exactly.
through all the work
Yeah.
to do all
Yeah.
that.
What are you? A girl
I don't have
in college?
7 kinds
like,
of juice to mix with this
Yeah.
that we need for whatever recipe we're gonna have. And then no one is shooting rum straight or drinking. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Someone's gonna write in and say
you could find out.
I don't know. Somebody tried to get me into rum and give me a bunch of them. And like the selling point was like some of this tastes like bananas. And I'm not a fan.
Yeah, you're like, nah.
So it's like they don't even taste like bananas. They taste like banana runts, which is like even worse.
To be fair,
So-
I like banana runts, but
You're
teach
the
their
only
own.
person on earth who likes banana runts.
I disagree, sir.
Everyone else throws them away.
I
Or
just
at other
posted a
people.
photo of runts on my Instagram, and the comments below, my question was, what's your favorite? And it was all banana. I know like 6 people that like banana.
There was 6 comments from 6 people you know that were giving you a
They
little,
felt bad for me. They
Yeah.
went, "Oh, that poor boy," and
They were humoring you. Be like,
for
"Oh,
banana runts. You might be right.
funny.
You might be right.
Might just be placating you. That's what that is. So, anyways,
There's a special place in hell for banana runts and black licorice and
I also
stuff like
I
that.
also like black jelly beans and black licorice too.
wow.
You are the devil.
I think it was just those were the like no one ever wanted
The
them,
forbidden
so there was always a
candy.
lot of them like left over, and I'd go, yeah, I just want
guess
some
I'm
candy,
gonna,
so
you
I'll
know,
deal with these.
Gonna eat
I'll
this
deal with those.
citrus starburst, I guess. Do you like the root beer barrel things, or you hate those
No.
too?
I like those.
Although
I like those. I like root beer. Root beer is good.
Yeah.
I do like if you say Starburst, I like the give me yellow. I want lemon. People don't like that shit. They all want strawberries.
I like them all. I don't. With
Yeah,
Starburst, I don't.
yellow starburst is the way to go.
And I am very upset that Skittles no longer has lime.
Yeah, they
It's
changed
green
it to apple.
What
That's
bullshit
that's
is that?
dumb. When we're talking about things that are dumb,
Yeah, that is dumb.
nobody wants that.
Strike that away.
Give me lemon and lime Skittles. That's like it. That's all I want.
Did they put the lime in
the
something
coconut?
else? I did not intend to do that. But that
I
was funny.
felt like you were going
straight to
right
Harry
there.
Belafonte, right there. That's what you're doing.
No, like, but did they take it out and then put it in a separate pack to go like, well, if you like lime so much, you got to buy this zany pack of
I don't think that's
Skittles.
one of
No,
the lyrics.
because the other stuff is tamer. Like here's berries for your gentle palate.
Do that.
Right, you want it to burn. You want get a handful. And
I
just,
suppose it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because when I eat Skittles, I just take a huge handful and just
that's true.
Mash them all up. So,
Man, when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do was get a giant ass bag of Skittles or two.
yeah.
Put them in a bowl, get the biggest spoon that I could find, play video games for hours and eat them with that giant spoon. That was some...
get a ladle and just...
Yeah.
You should have got
a
a funnel.
gravy boat. Just pour it right
Yeah, that'd be good.
down the hatch.
I have
Skittles.
memories of doing what I just said, where I just take a huge handful and just kind of mash them up, barely be able to chew it, and then would take it out and bug my sister with it. Like, whoa, look, it's gross. Get away from me, kind of thing.
I mean, that's proper.
We're learning a lot of special things about
Yeah.
you right now. Your black licorice and your other terrible root beer barrels.
Hey, they're great.
And,
This is when everyone stops listening to the show because they all love those things.
yeah.
I can't believe those guys don't like my favorite candy or something like that. By no means are these things my favorite, by the way. It's just I go, whatever, it's candy. There's very few things that I go nah. Bit of honey, not a fan. Not a fan.
That's not candy. That's like
those
what is cardboard that's been
around Halloween time. They're just black and orange wrapped up. I don't know what they are.
No.
Nope.
Ugh.
Nope.
Get out of here.
Say
Stop
no to those.
it.
I think they're supposed to be peanut butter, but they do not taste like peanut butter.
Because it's not peanut
Yeah.
butter. Jeez. Your bro maybe shudder a little bit. As a kid, you're going trick or treating, and
Nobody wants
you're
those.
digging through and then there's that, and you're just
anything wrapped in wax paper is getting thrown the fuck away real fast.
yeah. So all of us are about the same age. You remember the panic? Your parents wouldn't allow you to have hand wrapped candy because someone was putting needles or some shit.
Did that ever actually happen? I thought I read
have
something
no
about how
idea.
that's just a total lie.
Total urban myth.
Yeah. We were so concerned.
so concerned.
And
that
nothing ever
saltwater
happened.
taffy was contaminated.
That was Jurassic trolling at the time.
Yeah.
Somebody said that, threw everyone into a panic.
through an
But I feel
editorial
like every
to
year there's
newspaper.
still some article from some
Oh, yeah.
local news site talking about making sure to check your kids' candy. Or especially now with edibles, people are giving kids, THC gummies. I'm like, no, they're not.
No, they're not there and wasting
They're
that shit
they're
on
taking
kids.
them for themselves. Why
Yeah,
would they-
who
I
the
wouldn't-
fuck would do that?
I wouldn't give that to a kid. I want it.
No.
If it was put out there like a wink wink thing, check your kids' candy to see if something's wrong. Wink, wink. Make
You
sure
better-
you get the good shit. The Kit Kat is yours.
Right. Yeah. That-
I got to take this away. Something's fishy with the packaging. I don't know.
Sorry, you can't have that.
That stuff's probably expensive. I can't imagine you just be giving it away willy
And it's,
nilly.
something like that is really time intensive from what I understand. I'm not into weed drugs, but my understanding is that to condense all that stuff down and make a thing, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I don't know from experience.
No one would ever waste their money on that.
No.
No one.
Weed drugs?
No, giving them
Giving buying
weed
them
drugs
to give to kids
people
as
who
a
didn't
joke.
purchase them.
Yeah.
You're not giving that shit away for
Fuck
free.
no.
No.
Well, no.
What kind of drug user are you? Giving shit away for free? You're fucking up.
A bad one or
Yeah.
a really good one, I guess, but no. Bad one.
So we should get it. We should actually talk about you and your music.
I suppose.
I mean,
We don't have to.
we don't
Do
have.
these candies
Yeah. It's a lot of inspiration for the album came from which candy I ate as a child.
I understand that. So, you're in a lot of stuff. You seem to be a very busy man
I'm busy.
with a lot of musical projects.
It's good, but it's it's just I feel like I don't have a lot of time, which sucks. But you just do it. You just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time isn't real.
No, it's
And
not.
neither are you.
No.
Or is time a flat
What?
circle? True Detective? No, we're not.
I don't remember that. It's probably from season 2
It's from season 1. It's like Matthew McConaughey.
Season 2 was the one that no one liked, right?
and 3.
I liked 3. That's the only one I've watched. And I
Really?
didn't finish it, so I'm not even going to lie. I've watched 5 episodes.
Season 1 is the bomb.
Yes.
It's really great.
That's McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey, strung out as a motherfucker in that is great. That's when the McConaissance, I think, started.
Is that when he started doing the Lincoln commercials? And stuff?
I think
probably
like
around there.
Yeah, Dallas Buyers Club and
and then like he got his own whiskey and
oh, he has a whiskey too.
Yeah.
Is it called Shirtless Bongo Whiskey? What is it called?
Long Branch. It's a wild turkey.
Wasn't that him who got caught naked playing bongos?
I believe it.
I mean that
I don't know.
that or Pauly Shore. I don't know.
Dear
Like,
Internet, look this
please,
up for me.
please let us know.
Sounds like his MO.
Anyway, so you and unfortunately we're going to retread this. I know, like just last night you kind of went
That's
through
okay.
a
It was
little bit.
practice for today.
Yeah,
I'll perform better
Warm up.
on this
Warmed up.
show
That's
than I did
excellent.
last night.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about your history, and really what I'm interested in is how you got into synthwave.
Sure. Yeah. As far as just like musical background, I've been playing guitar since I was 13 or so. Played saxophone in band all through high school and into college too as well. That was kind of like my first instrument that I was really passionate about. And then I got a guitar in junior high, and that was what I wanted to do forever, was play guitar.
Yeah, makes sense.
Played in bands in high school, and then the kind of the band that I was in for like a really long time that had kind of like some success was a band called The New Monarchs, which was me and a friend of mine, and that was kind of like it was all electronic, drums and bass and stuff, and then we played guitar on top of it. Our like 15 minutes of fame was we had a song on Gossip Girl, that TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Which, the only episode I've seen is that episode, but
Well, I mean that's fair,
was,
right?
Yeah, it was like it was used as the theme for a teacher and a student's forbidden love. So it was
That's okay.
they were like doing it in a closet, and it was me singing over them doing it. It was very weird. It's still weird to watch. That was like 10 years ago. So I don't want to be that guy that's talking about that one thing that
Well,
happened
no.
a decade
Yeah, no,
ago.
no,
This
no.
is the thing that you hold on to. Like on dates, that would be like, hey,
Sure.
let me show you this. Right
But
now.
yeah, it
Be
was
like,
it was it
me
was
show
fun.
you
And then so we played around Minneapolis from like kind of seriously from 2009 to 2008, 2009 to 2012, and then we kind of both had different things that were going on. He had another group he was playing with, and then I started playing with the group is trying to make that I'm in not too soon after that. Where that I was singing in that other group. This one I'm just playing guitar in. We have a female vocalist, and it's kind of like a synth pop 80s throwback kind of thing. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, obviously, like I think I got a keyboard when I was in college, and that really opened up just a lot of like just different avenues for what else you could do with music. Because prior to that, it was just I'm that guy with an acoustic guitar talking about how girls
You're
don't
not
like
playing
me and stuff.
Wonderwall.
I
over
mean,
and
I
over
probably did. I'm sure. And I was that college campus
As you
acoustic
should.
guitar player. Yeah. Sometimes you got to be the.
I mean, if it gets you
stereotype of
laid,
that.
I mean, you got to do what you
know
got to do.
Free pass. Like, kudos if
Yeah.
you're the one doing that.
Yeah.
Not now. I think everyone's too aware of that now. But
Or
yeah.
do you think it's like passed off into like it's no longer really relevant, or is that song like a perennial? Everyone knows
It's
what it
still
is.
a meme, so I think people still know it.
Yeah.
What movie was that I was just watching where there's Yesterday. You ever see that movie? The one about the Beatles and like the guy, they didn't exist, and then the guy starts writing the songs like it's
Yeah.
remembers them. Anyway,
I've heard of this movie.
there's a
I have
joke
not
about
seen
Wonderwall
it,
in
so-
that. So I mean it's still in. That's Danny Boyle, just came out last year, so or this year maybe. Yeah.
I think it's a new movie.
Yeah, it's new. I watched it on a plane just recently, so there you go.
Okay.
Wonderwall's still in fashion is all I'm getting to.
I will admit that I did watch What's His Nuts sing it again, just to see if he could still sing. What the guy that sings it? One of the
Oasis? Gallagher?
Yeah, the Gallagher
Whichever
brother. Because like they hate each other still.
Right. Yes.
So one of them, and I forget who it is.
Liam is the singer. And
Yeah, so
Noel is
he-
the guitar player brother, I think. They both
Liam
play,
was sang a new one of his songs, and then like no one wants to hear the new shit from any old artist, so that he went to Wonderwall.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, okay, you could still. He's an old dude, and he could still throw it down, even though it's kind of a interesting vocal style. It's not like he's power ballading it. So
Pretty sure that's it. I may have them flipped. But it's Liam and Noel Gallagher for sure.
Yes.
I know those are the two guys.
But enough about them feuding brothers.
yeah.
Feuding Brothers,
Back to you.
Back to
yeah,
you,
but I
please.
think it was probably I should. One of the other things I do outside of work and like just day job and stuff is I host a movie music trivia at the 331 Club every Friday and have since 2011.
How does one get into that?
I got into hosting trivia because I was playing trivia. It used to be Wednesdays at the 501 Club before that closed.
It's all these numbers.
I know. Well, it's the same owners, so they had a naming scheme. Actually, the same owners that own Amsterdam as well. So it's
okay,
the same people. And my group would always win, and then it was my friend Laura who hosts, and there was a guy named Tom, and then Tom decided to not be a host anymore, and she was like, "You always win. You want to try writing questions and maybe be a fill-in host until we find someone permanent?" I went, "Sure." And then it was me.
And it's been you.
That's
ever
literally
since.
how I got that job.
Until we find the fill-in host.
Which is funny now because Trivia Mafia, who I work for, or this is like affiliated with, is, you know, if you want to be a trivia host now, you have to like apply and interview. And I just like hey, that guy always wins. Maybe he knows how to write questions. And then boom.
I love how like there's that correlation. You win, so maybe you could do this other aspect of it that's not necessarily related.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, she knew that like I had played in bands and stuff, so I had some sort of on-stage presence or something, or could at least perform. And yeah, I've been doing it ever since, so it's been a long time. So what I was getting to, though, is like, so I've always had a love for movies and music, obviously, but movies specifically. And I think, I can't remember what year it was, but I kind of grew up watching John Carpenter movies, my dad. And then I'd never seen Halloween 3. Because everyone always talks about how it's bad because Michael Myers isn't in it, right? And then I watched
Season of the Witch?
Yeah. And then I watched it, and I was like, one, this movie's great, and people need to stop shitting on it, because if it just needs to be called Season of the Witch, and then it'd be a good movie. It just doesn't need to be affiliated with Halloween.
It's like The Exorcist 3?
I like that one a lot, actually. That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
Yes, it is, actually.
Hardly any gore in that either. It could be G.
Did you see the director's cut?
Well, that's where, didn't they have the original ending in that one where they didn't do the exorcism and he just shoots him at the end?
I don't. It's been forever.
It was anticlimactic.
Like, finish this.
Fuck you.
But I watched Season of the Witch and I was like, wait, John Carpenter did the soundtrack for this, and it's just very moody, and it's just kind of stuck with me. And then I started looking into the fact that he did, you know, I knew he did the theme to Halloween, but I didn't realize he was doing the soundtracks to all his movies as well, for the most part.
Yeah.
So then I started listening to a lot of his soundtracks, and then because of that, I got more, like, was getting suggestions for more of these synthwave artists and stuff. And I kind of all was at the same time that I was playing that game Hotline Miami, which also had a lot of like the synthwave stuff on it. And probably when did Drive come out? Because I mean, there was that Kavinsky song that everyone just was like
2011 is when that came out.
So it's probably around the same time from all this kind of happened. And I think I was always interested in trying to write it, but I was busy writing stuff with Astronomique, and I was busy with other stuff. I just was like, I'll do one of these projects someday. But I do that with a lot of things. And it took till, you know, last year till I actually sat down to do it. And I just did one, and I went, all right, I did it. I wonder if I could do a couple more. And so,
and there you go.
Yeah,
Here we are.
From July 2017, I wrote one, and then by July 2018, I had the album done.
So you're saying like film scores are a big influence on you. Now, I mean, what is you're saying like a synth pop band and more traditional. Do you like electronic music in a general sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think with Astronomique especially, well, even the New Monarchs too, with like that had its core in electronics. It was always drum machines. There was always lots of synths and pads and layers. And Astronomique being kind of like an 80s synth pop throwback was always inspired by like Depeche Mode and New Order and stuff.
Saying
like
all
this.
the right things.
Yeah, so I've always liked that kind of music, and obviously like LCD Sound System, Hot Chip, all that kind of stuff. I was like, I mean, Radiohead's my favorite band, but I feel like that's not unique being a 35-year-old white man.
Yeah, sorry,
Red Diamond doesn't.
That,
so
yeah,
but they've always found that
would
way.
Be Tool.
As I was sure, like incorporating the guitar stuff that I was kind of raised on with the synth stuff and the electronic stuff. So that's where I was always getting my inspiration at a young age, and then hearing this kind of stuff and going, like, you know, I went from the one band where I was singing and playing guitar to just like, what if I didn't sing anymore and I just focused on guitar? And then from this was like, what if I didn't play guitar either? What if I only played synths? and didn't sing at all. And then how can I incorporate that kind of soundtrack, movie atmosphere, then incorporating some of these like little clips and things from my favorite like action or horror movies from the 80s that I grew up on. So it's kind of how it all came together.
And you were saying yesterday that you still write in a traditional like song structure.
Yeah, it's been difficult for me to really do the, here's one theme and it's just looped over and over again and parts come in and parts come out. I did a couple on the first release Alpha. There's a few that do it. But I think I always kind of go back to still an intro, verse, chorus, bridge kind of structure. And I was at first trying not to do it, and then I went, who cares? I'm just going to do it my way, because why not?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So kind of where I'm getting at is like, while you're influenced by movies, you're not writing film scores. So
No.
there's a big common theme in synthwave where there's basically cinematic, like Chris would be one where there's not necessarily the traditional song structure to it. It's more of a mood, and it's a journey that carries you through this whole thing, whereas you're still writing in a traditional pop song structure.
Yeah, I think
ultimately.
so. It would be fun to try to do that, to actually score a film or like at least a scene or something, but I don't know how.
I know someone
well
who
I'd do it.
did a score to a scene. Was in Gossip Girls, I think.
I knew something was coming. I mean,
Unintentionally, you did.
Yeah,
it happened.
who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
So did you end up going to the John Carpenter show when he was here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Sweet.
Oh, shit.
Were you
We
guys there?
Yeah, we were fucking there.
Yeah, I was there. Me and Laura, who I host trivia with, and
Yep.
my buddy Ryan were there, and it was awesome.
That was
I had
a
a
great
blast.
show.
I
Oh, it was
hated that it was
amazing.
at the Myth, but it was just such a weird place.
Yeah, everyone in Minnesota hates them.
Yeah,
That's kind of a universal thing that everyone gets behind, is hating on the Myth. It was really a great, we were really kind of hesitant
Yeah,
because
we
it was
hemmed and hawed on that stuff. We
Like,
weren't
you weren't
really
sure
sure.
if you
really
wanted to go.
expensive for kind
I
of.
bought tickets the second I found out about it. Like, I couldn't wait. And the funny thing is Laura got a deal on Groupon. I think her tickets were like $30 or $20 or something. And she bought them like the week of the show.
Jesus Christ.
Like, we showed up and
Because weren't they like $80? I feel like it was.
they
or
they weren't that
$50
much.
or-
I think they were like 50 or 60 or
Yeah.
something like that when we
Oh,
showed
still,
up.
it's still.
And it was like right by my birthday, so it was
Sure.
about this time,
Yeah.
2 years ago. Now it would have been. And
Speaking of your birthday, you know what I realized? That in all these years I've known you, I never realized that your birthday is on Guy Fawkes Day.
yes, Gunpowder Day, Guy Fawkes Day.
Remember. Your birthday.
So I mean, that's cool. You got that going for you.
I do.
That's sweet.
But yeah, and I wasn't sure what we were gonna do, and then like just last minute we were like, okay, we're going to the show.
Yeah.
It's the best
I feel like
decision
it was
ever.
really cold that night. I remember being cold.
Yeah, it was
It
fucking
was a little
awful.
bit.
Yeah.
I was underprepared. I remember that.
But it was a great fucking show.
It was an amazing show.
I bought like 3 T-shirts. I feel like and that's what started my like horror movie T-shirt collection. I became that guy too. So I'm just growing.
That's
into
all right.
Stereotypes.
Yeah, no. It's embrace it.
Yeah, I'm
Embrace
gonna.
all of that.
They're great.
Yeah, John. Yeah, and you're talking about like John Carpenter. I think he actually writes like pretty much everything, even if he's not credited. He's usually actually writing the songs, and then someone else gets credit for it, but they just arrange the music that he plays.
Yeah.
Because, and for those that are, because you're a horror movie fan, so are you really into the remasters and re-releases from like Arrow Video and, or do you prefer like the old VHS decrepit?
No, I mean I have a VCR that's hooked up that works. I have VHS tapes. It's not specific to like it's only pure in this form. Like I would love to watch a Blu-ray version of something because it looks a lot nicer. But sometimes you couldn't get things.
Yeah.
They weren't out. Like they were only DVD versions or whatever. But there's a lot of stuff coming out now. Who is Shout Factory, Scream Factory,
Yeah.
whatever, and Vinegar
Same
Syndrome and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
putting out tons of re-releases. I mean, I can't. Just like I was only buying horror movie soundtrack vinyl for a long time because I was like, I need to narrow this down so I don't spend too much money. Now it's like I have too many movies. I can't do it. I gotta just stop. Cut out of my budget.
Yeah, I mean it's overwhelming. It seems like the nostalgia market is in full swing where you've got the vinyl and then people are remastering and restoring films. And then there's the whole, as you said, the purists were like, I only watch movies in VHS and that's it. And so there's that whole market where VHSs are now somehow collectible again. And I'm like, which is really there. I guess there is some sort of charm to it, but I'm like the 4:3 aspect ratio and all that shit. Like, I'm a spoiled boy. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
I mean, it's not.
I mean, I appreciate things. As you know, I've got lots of old video games and other weird formats like Laserdisc and that kind of thing. But really, oof.
Yeah.
You know what I saw on Laserdisc today? Pulp Fiction.
Oh, wow. You should have bought it. Unless it was crazy expensive.
And I've just decided I'm probably going to sell off my Laserdisc stuff.
See, that's the thing. I don't own a player.
I started buying Laserdiscs last summer, and then I went like, this is going to get bad. So I had to just, again, basically put the kibosh in all physical media for a while because I have no place to put it.
Yeah, so,
And
besides vinyl or video games, no more physical media.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
You're going to sell it, huh?
I am. It's a decision I made. It's okay, but really, what am I doing with this?
I weeded out some of my DVDs recently, just because I either had them on Blu-ray or they're just something like, comedies and dramas and stuff. You go like, I'm never gonna watch these again.
Right, the shit you spend like $7 on, and you're like, this might be a thing.
Yeah,
It's really all about being a lot more conscious about the purchase. Well, trying to be more conscious about the. And again, if it's vinyl or whatever, it's like buy all the vinyl. But like I'm not gonna have a DVD copy of Ted that someone gave me.
Yeah,
like that's gone. That's buy.
TV series, got rid of those a long time ago.
Just out of here.
You're like box sets of Lost or Family Guy or whatever it is. The
all
things
that
I had in
gotta
college.
go.
I still have all my Simpsons DVDs. I don't know why though, because they're all scratched to hell. They look like shit. They're just sitting in a box, but I got them.
The only things that I've kept are things that are out of print. Like you just can't get it. Like the whole Spawn series, the original series. Like you can't find that anywhere. It's on DVD.
There are things, yes, on VHS, and like I know Rob Zombies had a huge thing about VHS and horror and what's available on that. And then again, like going back to Laserdisc, there's some stuff that's available on both of those that you just can't get on anything else right now. So
it's like, I mean, the Star Wars trilogy I have in Laserdisc, just because
that's like the most pure version.
Yeah, that's
like
most coveted.
The VHS technically is, you can get like the widescreen formats that still have the non-special edition, but it looks nice. It looks nicer than a VHS does on a tube TV. So I had to do that. That's why I got the Laserdisc player in the beginning. Was just
goddamn.
Just want to get the Star Wars trilogy, and then it was like, oh, you can go to eBay and get like lots of the $50. You get 30 Laserdiscs. I go, what are these movies? I've never heard of these things.
I'm into it because of a sideways thing. Sure. So it's just like, because I have this thing, I can get these, and I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm a sucker for anime on Laserdisc for some reason, because there are very few U.S. releases of anime on Laserdisc, so I'm just like, whoa, this is cool, and then I watch it, I'm like, well, not really, but I still have it anyways.
And I have a background, so I actually worked, my first job was at Sam Goody in the Eden Prairie Mall. I think I was like a junior in high school. I worked there for like 3 years, and then
was Mallrats being filmed around that
Mallrats,
time?
No, this was, but they had already remodeled the mall, so it looked differently. So this is probably 10 years after that, 8 years.
Yes,
after
for
that.
people that don't know that,
Yeah,
the movie was filmed there. Yes.
And then I also worked at Best Buy for a long time in the stores. So like I basically was always in like not only liking movies and music, but then also working around them all the time. And I just bring it up because I remember Sam Goody had this like huge anime section, and I didn't know anything about anime at the time. There were some people that were in there every week picking up the new stuff. Just like, it's crazy. I had no idea. It's just like the whiskey stuff. I didn't know there was this market. For it,
it was weird. And then it's like, if you're a kid too, and you find out about anime, it's like, oh, there's some cartoon shit.
Yeah.
But people are getting fucked.
Yeah,
heads killed in it. Yeah.
Or like both at the same time.
You can go buy this shit too, and no one will stop you either.
Your parents won't even pay attention to what you're buying.
There might be
cartoon boobs in it too.
Yeah.
Good times.
The secret's been revealed.
Yeah.
I remember seeing some shit for the first time. Just my mind was totally blown. I was like, oh my, what is going on in this? This is for me because I am a deviant and this is speaking my language right now.
I never got too into anime, but there's definitely, I've seen Akira, seen like Vampire Hunter D, Trigun,
I mean, you're
Cowboy Bebop, things like that. I mean, I watched them and I liked them all. So
Deviant.
yeah.
I mean, you're doing well.
I just
You're
actually
saying,
saw Vampire Hunter D at the Alamo Draft House in October.
Good for you.
I wanted to go to that.
Yeah.
But then I was probably sick again because I'm always sick. And then I was like, oh, I've seen that so many times.
Yeah.
See, that's where I was going to get at. Like, anytime something cool comes up, it's like I've seen it 500 times. Like Blade Runner goes in, like came in.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother at work about this today because he did a quote from Aliens, and I didn't recognize it at first.
What was the quote?
What was he saying?
It's fine if you can't remember.
It was something
Put you on the spot.
that Hicks said in it. But anyways, I didn't get it at first. Then when he told me what it is, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
He's like, you've seen this movie 100 times. You should know what it is. And then I got into like, yeah, there's old... And he wanted to watch it. He's like, I should watch it again. I was like, yeah, I would kind of want to watch it again, but I've seen it so many times and so many other movies so many times.
Yeah.
Like the last old movie I saw in the theater was Terminator 2.
Okay.
And I was just sitting there and I was like, oh, it was a midnight showing too. So I was
See, that's your mistake. I
hurry
can't do
up and be over.
I can't do those midnight ones. I always fall asleep.
I've seen these so many times I don't need to anymore. If I never saw Akira again, I would be fine. I've seen that movie so many times.
Sure.
But the thing
I
is,
love
like,
it.
Yeah.
But no more.
Yeah. I 100% fell asleep during a midnight screening of Akira in Uptown Theater.
So those movies are great to have in the background of like a party or something going on, like just as a visual stimulus off to the side. And it's a quick cue because you could look at something and know instantly what's going on and kind of have that connection to it. But to actually like sit and have to pay attention to it again, like it's... Although I will say I can watch Blade Runner any point in time.
Sure.
I don't know.
I've been big on Parkway Theater does screenings every Thursday of older movies. I love to go to ones that I'm like really into. Usually, if they're 35 millimeter screenings, Trial on Microcinema does a lot of stuff. Like Gremlins 2 is like one of my favorite movies of all time, and they did a screening of Gremlins 2, and like I absolutely went. And I've seen that movie 100 times.
Parkway's got a tight bar, and they do themed drinks
yes,
too.
the Parkway's themed drinks are very cool. What was the last one that I went to? Hellraiser. And they had this drink that was like habanero sour and tequila is like a pleasure and pain drink or something. And it had pop rocks around the ring, so it was sharp. And it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Those guys, they know what they're doing.
And the first two movies have been remastered for those that are want to know and been restored to 2K, not 4K.
Not 4.
Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
No, Hellraiser.
I fucking with you.
Fucker.
The
They
first
have
two movies.
Gremlins and Gremlins 2 are on Blu-ray. Gremlins has a 4K release. I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know about Gremlins 2, the new batch. I don't know if that's got a 4K release yet.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I really do like the new batch.
It's great.
It is a really fantastic movie.
I haven't met anyone that doesn't like it. Honestly.
I think,
and I don't know. Maybe they're just humoring me.
You like gremlin titties.
No, I mean there is a girl gremlin, but she doesn't take her clothes off. She's got dignity.
I think Joe Dante almost got fired off that movie because like he envisioned it as basically like a satire.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, the
and
story
they're
goes that they wanted to make a sequel and they couldn't get a director to do it. And after years, because I think 84 to 90 or 89, it was a while.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe Joe Dante had something to do with its success. So he was like, I'll do it, but I get to do whatever I want. And he basically makes a movie that makes fun of Gremlins.
Right.
And it's a Looney Tune comedy. It's crazy.
And I really enjoy it for that. I mean, if it was a direct like tonal sequel or whatever, maybe not wouldn't have landed as well. And I appreciate it. I like it. I like both movies.
Yeah.
And I can watch them back to back.
And Gremlins 2 is what I actually saw first. I hadn't seen
Really?
Gremlins, and if I had, I don't recall it. But my sister and I used to watch it growing up. It was always on HBO or whatever cable channel we had, which our parents were not monitoring what we were watching, by the way, because there's tons of movies I go like.
We're of the age
My
when
sister and I,
cable
we
was
used to watch a lot,
around
and
and
it's
your
like, we
parents
shouldn't be
did not
watching
monitor
these.
anything you were doing. My parents did not at all.
Child Ren of the 80s.
Well, even Terminator 2, I remember, was like, my folks were like out on a Friday night or a Saturday night doing something with their friends, and there's like, you and your sister can order a pizza and then rent a movie, and we rented Terminator 2. But in 91, right? 92?
That was the best fucking night
I
ever.
was
I'm
I was
sure.
7.
Seriously?
There's
A
no
fucking
way that
pizza
movie was
party
appropriate
and
for a
Terminator 2
7-year-old,
as a kid? Are you
Terminator
fucking
2 is
joking?
an uplifting story. I don't know
But
what you're
there's
talking
like the
about.
scary part where they killed, the sword.
No,
through
no,
the
that's
mouse
just
while
part
they're
of the
drinking
ride.
The milk and
That's just
stuff.
part of the
There was
whole-
violence in it. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
I went to the theater with my parents to see Rising Sun.
Oh,
That shit is scarring, so I don't want to hear it.
sure. I remember the co-ed shower scene in Starship Troopers. My dad,
There you go.
My dad kind of was like, just don't tell your mom, kind of thing. Because I was what?
Movie came out on my birthday, and I went to go see it with my
I
brother.
was like 13
It was
when
great.
that came out. Yeah.
Dude, and that movie, to this day, still has a very, very special place in my heart.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Well, you missed out because there was a mini cast reunion a couple of years ago, Crypticon for Starship Troopers.
Every year I read when Crypticon's coming, and I go, maybe this is the year that I actually go to that. But I never do.
Here's the great
go.
thing about it. You can go for one day, and that's it. It's not like some of the other things where you got to buy a whole pass for the whole stretch.
Isn't it? It's 3 days though, right?
It's 3 days.
Yeah,
But
you
most
can
of the
just
stuff
go to
happens
a
on
day.
Saturday.
Okay.
You pay like $25.
It's at like a hotel Hilton or something
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
airport.
Airport
or something.
Hilton.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
It's very small.
Yeah.
very
It's a
small.
small
But they
thing.
get like horror
Which-
celebrities.
Yes,
right?
which is the crazy thing. It's small, but they
Yeah.
get like big names.
I just
for
never know it. I've never met like a celebrity in that kind of like way where I would be like, it's really nice to meet you. Thanks. Like I just feel weird. Because
Well,
you're
so
like, don't you pay them to get their autograph?
The thing is
Yeah.
with Crypticon, what makes it cool is that they have like a Q&A or like a presentation thing. So
Yeah.
most of the guests get up and do like an hour where they either do their riff, like Jake Busey just got up and started talking. He's like, I'm not really doing this stuff. I don't really know what to do. So I'm just going to tell you the story about my life,
Okay.
which is really, he was great.
Was it Crypticon this year that had the Twin Peaks cast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
And
I had a friend
Doug
who went
Bradley
to
of
that.
Hellraiser.
Ah, yes. Okay.
And Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh, good. What did he talk about? How he's crazy?
All kinds of shit. So exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He started out the conversation talking about how Men in Black are bad, and if you see them, it's like not a good thing.
Not the movie The Real Men in Black.
He was like, he's like, they aren't heroes. Men in Black are not heroes. If you see them,
Didn't he
they're
play a
not
man
good.
in black in an episode of The X-Files?
Probably. I think so. Yeah.
Perhaps, probably.
He absolutely did. I know it. Because he tells Mulder that what he saw was like a weather balloon or swamp gas or something. It's that weird episode.
Swamp
Never mind. We don't have to
farts.
get into the X-Files stuff here.
Yeah.
The nerd colors are really showing right now.
But here's the thing though, like watching him speak, like I could kind of see through a prism how he got elected to be governor. I'm like, wow, he's actually like really engaging. Like,
Yes.
you're
It's
drawn in.
extremely so, which is kind of spooky.
Yeah, because I'm like, in my logical brain, I'm like, this guy is fucking whack.
Yeah.
Like this guy is talking a whole bunch of shit.
I was too young. I mean, I was in 8th grade when he got elected, I think.
Yeah.
What's the consensus on him and his tenure in a...
He was universally
government-
hated, and,
Okay.
and the thing is, like, he
I would
brags.
say he was universally liked.
No, because the Democrats and Republicans hated him.
Because he was an independent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
As a person, though, like as the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Did he talk about
He
his...
got us money. He got me a fat ass check
No, well,
from the surplus.
There you go.
I don't know if you got that. You guys might have been.
he
too
gave
young.
everyone a copy
No, I
of
was working,
Abraxas
so I was-
on DVD.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
It was surreal. It was really surreal. That's probably the most surreal moment of my, like, those kinds of things that I've done is like here's a dude who used to be our governor, who was also in a bunch of sci-fi movies, who is also a professional wrestler on the fucking back. I didn't really know how to feel about any of it.
I felt good about it all.
It was great. I like the movies.
It's like hometown hero.
I liked him as a wrestler. So
this is my homeboy right here. Like, I've been to his house before. He's saying crazy shit.
It was entertaining. I'll tell you that regardless,
it was entertaining.
It was the entire time
worth the
I
price
was
of admission to see him and other celebrities talk
Yeah.
about stuff. Yeah.
Andrew Robinson was amazing, who played Frank in Hellraiser. Absolutely engaging, enthralling, I dare say.
Scorpio and
Scorpio.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's right. He's the guy in
Merrick?
Dirty Harry that he shoots.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he has to make my day.
And America on Star was the Deep Space.
Deep Space.
Nine?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So he's done a lot of stuff, and he was really, and that's, you just never know. It's a mixed bag. So sometimes you show up to these things and it's really fucking awkward.
He was like
It's
kind of
crooked.
ragey passionate about what he was doing. So it was weird because it was a Q&A, and it's like he and Jesse were just like, I'm just gonna talk the whole time. Maybe I'll let you ask a question,
Sure.
but I'm gonna say some shit at you.
And it was very engaging, very, very engaging. And that's where, like, you know, Saturday is like the time to go, because it's like the most amount of, like, if that's your thing, you just wanted, like, again, it's not necessarily about meeting them. Like, I fucking went last year and I'm like, I didn't interact with any of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I stood next to Jake Busey and I'm like, wow, you're fucking tall. I didn't realize that was a thing. And then I'm like, oh, Casper Van Dien, he's actually really fucking short. Okay.
And you were like, hey, Casper, do you want to live forever? I was like, please move.
Dude, those guys, Casper and Busey, they're boys. Like,
Yeah.
they're boys, and their chemistry together and their like back and forth
They were having fun.
it's really great.
Okay, well, it sounds. Maybe you need to give it.
So
Yeah,
it's just,
go.
I say for folks, consider it. If you're a Minnesota folk,
Yeah.
if you're going to do Crypticon, if you're going to do a convention where you want to interact, fuck Galaxy, because it's a money grab.
Yeah.
This is like, you could spend $25, show up, go to a conference room, listen to some, you know, cult celebrities of varying degrees, be really interesting, and you're going to be entertained. And I mean,
Or it could be really awkward, like the previous year, where celebrities were doing Q&As and you'd just be sitting there in a room with crickets because no one would ask questions. That was kind of fucked.
yeah, I mean that, but
Was there? Who was that specifically? Do you remember? Some
um,
questions. I'm just curious.
Dina Meyer, who
From Starship Troopers.
Yes.
Starship Troopers,
Yeah.
that was crickets. Awkward. I think all the nerds had boners and just didn't know what to do with themselves, and so
That was weird. And then, but then, like Casper and Jake were like, "Well, why isn't she doing the thing with us?"
yeah,
Because
It's a
usually
good
they did
question.
it together. And he was like,
They're like,
"All
we
right,
needed to
I guess
fill
we'll do it."
45 more minutes in this other room.
yeah.
And then the guy who was Darth Vader in
Oh yeah,
Oh, Ray Park. Wait, no, Darth Vader. I thought you
Darth
Maul.
Vader in the new movie, the Rogue One. He played Darth Vader,
Oh, who
and
cares?
he was also in.
Sorry.
He's been in a bunch of stuff. He played Frankenstein. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
So he's a character
I
actor.
was thinking this was like a
huge.
one-off. Like the guy they got to be Darth
Yeah.
Vader in Rogue One once, and that's it.
So it's
That's
like
it.
they get him in and like it's just like questions anyone, and he was just like, okay, fuck you guys.
Oh no.
I'm going to turn this around. I am going to ask everyone here questions because you aren't asking me questions.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
and he's Welsh, so you couldn't.
No
fucking-
one could understand what he
a
was
goddamn
saying.
thing he was saying. It was entertaining, and so and you go, "What's your favorite horror movie? What's your favorite horror movie? What's your favorite horror movie?" And I'm like,
I
"Wow!"
mean, when he asked me, I said The Thing. And I didn't have the heart to tell him when he was like, "Oh, Swamp Thing." It's like wrong one, but
no,
He's like, I'm more into the return of Swamp Thing. Jim Wynorski
more
classic.
my level right there. Yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
but it was like ooh, that first time we went, that was a lot of cringe going on.
Yeah,
How many times have you guys gone?
Twice.
It's just twice. Okay.
It's twice.
Okay. Yeah, there's a team that plays trivia and kind of a regular team that comes in and out. And they always go, and they always ask me, like, are you going to go this year? I'm like, maybe. And then usually what happens is, like, on a Friday night, I stay out too late. And then Saturday, I'm like, I'm not going to do anything today.
Not doing it. Yeah.
Just
I would
staying in.
say, honestly, if it's your thing, you like movies, you like horror movies, one day, it's definitely worth one day.
Yeah.
Most of the shit happens on Saturday. Go Saturday. If you don't do anything else after that, you're fine.
I think you sold me on it.
Yeah.
I got to wait a whole year now because it already happened.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Yeah. Because it's worth one day. I've learned that lesson. We did all 3 days last year. We did one day this year. Like, it's just the one day, it's definitely worth it. And what's interesting is, like, if you compare and contrast to other things that are around, Crypticon has, like, the hot guests. Like, you're like, how did they get this person who's still in stuff, who's still acting, who's having either is ascendant because they've been rediscovered or they're a legend. But you go to, like Convergence, which is the biggest one of the state. And
Is that like the convention center or something like that?
it was at the Hyatt Regency.
It's still at
this
like
year.
a hotel. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so all that shit's always at a hotel.
Okay.
And I don't remember, Chuck Tingle was the celebrity of note for Convergence this year, which I thought was fantastic. I don't know if I understand. I don't know if it's meta. I don't know if it's a social experiment. But anyways, he's like this Amazon homo-erotic anthropomorphic fiction writer.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't know Chuck Tingle.
So like he writes like
Well, here's a rabbit
for all
hole
the
to
words
go
that you just said,
down.
there's probably why
like
I don't know.
Bigfoot, handsome Bigfoot pounded me in the butt.
Okay. I mean, go on.
Yeah.
Like space raptors pounded me in the butt. Like Bigfoot pirates haunt my balls. Like these, like he was saying, Amazon, not like Amazon, like large women.
No,
type
Amazon.com.
Like
That's where he
Amazon,
releases
You
this.
can buy. You can buy
These are-
like
okay.
the stories.
They're like
on
$1.50 because
Sounds like there's probably more depth to it than just these phrases, though, right?
Yeah, that's questionable. So, and he's totally anonymous. So he shows up in a karate suit. I don't know the proper word for that.
A gi.
A gi.
I think it's what it's called.
And he's got a fucking pink silk sack over his head,
Well, you can't see him.
and he's wearing sunglasses.
You can't see his face at all.
You can't see his face at all. And written in Sharpie
Says
is
Chuck Tingle.
"Love is real."
Oh, okay.
So this last year, they did a lot of stuff in celebration of Chuck Tingle. They did a live reading of the unmade porno that he was asked to write.
Okay.
Then there was a local comedy troupe that did a play that they did in front of the audience,
Like based off something he'd written, or
inspired by
okay, his kind
inspired by him. Then he had a few seminars about, well, one was Love is Real.
Okay.
And then one was avoiding the void of how to avoid negativity, and it was like a self-help seminar.
Okay, so it's not all erotic.
No, I mean no, it's a fucking, the whole thing is like I don't even understand. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's like,
I'm thinking about someone listening to this show, and there's like so many things they need to watch and listen to and read now
to even
because
understand
of what we
what's
talked
going
about. Just
and I didn't
throwing media at him.
I like how we went from your music to go way sideways.
fine.
on
Way
all
that's
this
fine.
shit.
Here's a more sideways thing. I would just keep piling in. So Chuck Tingle ended up quoting Amanda in some tweet, something.
Wow.
And like was like, "Oh, this is a great show." So Amanda's is one of my friends who has a podcast as well, and someone somehow in the internet world connected Wine and Crime with Chuck Tingle together, and Amanda was completely unaware of it. And I'm like screenshotting her
this is
like
big.
all of the
It's
stuff,
Chuck
and
Tingle
she's like,
big.
"What the fuck is going on? Like, what is this real life right now? What is going on?" And it was really hilarious. And because she had no idea who Chuck Tingle was until I told her.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm like, seriously, you know who Chuck Tingle is? Like, this is right up your fucking alley. Like, she's like, no, it's what the fuck? I'm like, no, come on now. You need to come to Convergence. You need to understand this. And she's like, no.
I could see her doing the reading, like the live reading. When
She should fucking do it. I'm trying to talk her to go into Convergence and bring her thing to that, because that'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It would be a good fit.
Yeah, it'd be a great fit. So anyways, that's like me like humble bragging a little bit. Anyway,
Good job.
good job, man. That's cool.
Cheers.
Thank you. Yeah,
Chuck Tingle.
yeah. I'll drink to that.
And on that note, going back to your music. So you mentioned that you played saxophone.
Yes.
And the question that I want to ask you is, in synthwave, how much saxophone is too much saxophone?
How much is too much? Yeah, you have to use it sparingly. Did you go to that midnight show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we were there.
That's too much saxophone.
That is a lot of saxophone.
As much as I enjoyed it, because I wasn't so much into the lead singer and how he was kind of presenting himself on stage. So anytime he wasn't singing or being the main guy on stage, I kind of was okay with the saxophone doing its thing. But that's too much. I don't recall hearing that much in their music in general. But every like other song,
I feel like everything of theirs is like, here's a saxophone.
yeah.
And in a previous episode we had there, I keep saying this, like, I'm not sure it was a ghost interview or not. And he like called them out. He's like, I don't want to be like the Midnight and do too much of one thing, like the saxophone, like they do.
Yeah, that's too much. I have yet to incorporate the saxophone in anything I've been doing. I've thought about
respect to that, because you have.
Well, it's mostly because I would want to play it.
Okay.
And it's been a long time since I've really sat down and played it well. I think I put one sax line on one Astronomique song in like 2015. So at least 4 years we're talking since I've picked it up. And I'm sure it was much better when I was younger. And now I just go like, if I'm going to do it, I want it to be good. So I would want it to be like the right thing and be able to do it well.
And do you feel like if you did that, you would open up like a Pandora's box, and it's just like it's not worth?
Then be all saxophone. No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Like a synthwave album that's just like all saxophones.
Any Midnight album.
Yeah, Indie Midnight. I mean, so you were at the Midnight show.
Yeah.
Was that too much saxophone?
It's too much saxophone.
I mean, it was I will say, like,
again, I said it was I enjoyed it. I wasn't super into the lead singer, so it's like anything that took attention off of him. I felt like he was really reaching for some high notes.
I have to feel like I have to mention right now, Eric briefly left the room.
Yes.
So that's why we're revisiting.
it.
okay,
Yeah,
all right,
but-
sorry.
No,
All right.
it's okay.
But I mean, it was a good show though. So
Yeah, I heard all the songs I wanted to hear, and then I left. I left early. I was
There
kind of
you
like, it was one, it was a Monday, right? And two, it was pretty crowded.
It's insane that they sold out that venue.
Was it sold out?
I think it was sold out.
Okay, yeah. I didn't anticipate being that many people, and it going. I was hoping it would be done earlier. For some reason, I thought maybe there's only 2 people playing. They won't be going so late. And I was just like, I want to get out of here. I'm tired. I got to work in the morning. I'm 35 years old. I got things to do.
I've got real responsibilities, and I hate my life.
Yeah, and it was a very youthful crowd too. I felt like I saw a lot of young kids, and I was just like, I feel.
I
old.
saw. I don't know. It was eclectic. There was like
yeah, I would say it was a big mix.
There was.
I was standing near all the young kids, so I was feeling
Gotcha.
especially old in that particular instance.
There was like one dude who looked like Danny McBride from Eastbound and Down,
Sure.
but like in like the sunglasses and like, but he like the mullet and like well coiffed.
Really, really going like ham.
Yeah.
On the floor. Too.
He was at first I thought this person was trying to be ironic, and I'm like, oh, here's a troll. Like I thought, but no, this dude was like really, really into it, and I'm like, oh shit, my bad, I made an assumption. Like this guy's actually into
This is how I live.
This
This is me.
Wow. Okay.
I can only get a boner if I use saxophone.
So much saxophone.
I could relate to that. No, I can't.
But I don't know. I think in the artists I listen to in the genre, I guess there's only a few that really put a lot of saxophone in it. I don't know. So I don't notice it as much. It doesn't like stand out as something that's getting overdone to me, but
Sure.
I know it gets used a lot. And
is it like saxophone on one song per album? Like you can have saxophone on one song in an album.
You can have saxophone 30% of your album.
That's a lot to me, I feel.
Like you could have a Gunship album.
But I mean, if it's 3 songs, it's one track's got it. And if it's 10, it's 3 songs. You know how math works.
Unless that's like the shtick. Like Morphine, like they had a bass guitarist, a alto saxophonist, and a drummer, and that was it. That was the whole thing. That was their shtick. So if you going into it, like that's what you're doing, it's gonna be saxophone every single song. You could like prepare for it. But I feel like
all my favorite Midnight songs have saxophone on it. So I guess
every single one does.
everyone has it.
You have no choice.
That's true. You're forced to listen to it.
It's no Careless Whisper.
I mean, that is also classic. I'll never get sick of that song.
That's the only song that's allowed to have saxophone in it at this point.
Songbird by Kenny G. I like that song too still. You know what I'm talking about, right?
We'll edit this part out of the episode.
It's like something you'd hear waiting for the dentist, like in the waiting room.
Muzak is what you're saying?
It's good, though.
Okay.
You'd recognize it. I'll do a cover it someday.
That's amazing. That's a new direction. A synthwave version of like
Zamfir's
obscure
pan flute.
Yes, or like synthwave versions of metal songs. Like take it a complete different direction.
I feel like that wouldn't be too hard. They kind of go hand in hand.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you're gonna have to help me out. The artist you're wearing the shirt of.
Yes.
How do you say that name?
Perturbator.
Okay, because I've been saying Perturbator forever.
Yeah, no,
That's what Ross says too.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
But I've never had anyone say it to me, and so
I
I've
actually
heard people
heard
say
it.
it differently.
It's actually a real proper word. It's not made up. It's an actual old-timey word. And I heard it in a series I was watching, and they were talking about a person being a perturbator.
Okay.
And they said perturbator.
Because I was thinking like to be perturbed, right? And then a tour.
So it means someone who is perturbing others.
Oh, so it does have roots.
I thought it was like some sort of like mashup, and we talked about this on a different show, a different episode of the show, where I thought it was like a Latin mashup, where like like the two things, but it's actually a legit word.
Okay. And the reason I bring it up is that I went to that show at the Skyway Lounge.
Fucking A.
And it was all like gentlemen like yourself with long hair and metal shirts and stuff. And I was like, I think I was wearing like a polo and khakis at the time or something.
Yeah.
It was like standing out.
The cool
a
guy.
little too
That's
much.
awesome.
I wasn't really wearing that, but I was like, oh, this is like a metal crowd. This is like a metal show, but it's not a metal show. And then I went, I guess there's lots of like similarities between the metal and some of the more aggressive synthwave artists and music.
Yep.
And I'm not like a metal guy. Not that I don't like it. I just never got into it,
I get you.
So, because I couldn't play it. I wanted to learn it. I was never that fast.
That billing was like the perfect like.
That was a
combination.
dream show for me, and I fucking.
That was really fun.
Yeah, he got blackout drunk
Oh.
before we even went to the show.
See, it was a Friday, so I had trivia. I did trivia, and then I got in the cab the second it was done, and I went downtown.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's commitment.
Yeah.
It was a great show. There's a lot. It's funny that we talked to a lot of folks. There's a lot of folks in Nitro Wave TC, a lot of people on the fringes that all went to that show. It seems like
we were all there, and we just didn't know.
We didn't. Yeah.
And now it seems like we're all getting to know each other finally.
I think another thing too is I've had the radar art now for these artists that I've been listening to for 4 years or so, 5 years, and they were never coming here. I feel like.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't even know about the Com True show until like someone was posting from it. I went,
Too bad for you.
Were you there?
Show.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I
we went.
also hate the fine line though, but I'll go for that.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It was great, and you know what? The show was great.
There's nothing I shouldn't say that I.
But
hate.
he's been here a couple times, so what are you doing? Missing
Exactly.
out on that?
I'm missing out on it. I want to recant my statement of the fine line. It's not that I hate the venue as far as like a show goes. I don't like their rules about like they used to be you could go there and leave, and now like you can't leave. Last time I went to a show was for
They don't let you go out to the smoking.
You can
thing
only
on
go to the
side?
smoking lounge, but you can't like leave out the front door. Like we wanted to go in and see an opening artist and then leave and go to another bar and drink and come back. It was like no re-entry kind of thing. And it was like a new rule.
bullshit.
And I was like, that's silly. I can't
that's
remember.
not cool.
They're kind of a metal act. My friends love them. Crap.
A band.
Yeah, they're kind of post rock, but like metal, and the guy screams. God, what is that? What is their name? They're gonna listen to this and go, "You couldn't think of them." Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
They're like, how are they supposed to figure that out? That's like 10,000 bands.
that's every fucking band.
They're cool. I've seen them a couple times.
Oh,
Anyway,
they're great. Yeah.
Can't think of their name. It's the whiskey.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That was a dream show. Yeah, I was saying Ghost and Perturbator together was a really fantastic.
So I missed Ghost, is what I was gonna say.
That's too fucking bad because he was amazing.
Had a job
And
to do, son. That
he's
was that trivia.
he was more the metal. He was more metal than Perturbator overall. I would say. Would you agree?
Since all that I really can remember is Ghost playing, I was like, yeah, it's really fucking good.
That's what he remembers. It's really fucking good.
And like in my mind, if I could have been like there for the whole show mentally and everything, if it was like the two of them and Carpenter Brute, that would have been the most amazing show that's ever been played on Earth.
They were here not too long ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which that was one of the best shows that I've seen in years.
Okay. I should have gone to that.
Which is at the Fine Line. So you didn't want to go because you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Just like the rule is, if it's a synthwave show, you should just go.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right.
You should just go.
Yeah.
Because you missed out on.
Were you here for Daniel Deluxe and Dance with the Dead?
No. Wait, when was that?
Fuck.
I didn't know about it until just now.
Well, I guess we need to keep you in the fucking loop.
We need some sort of nitro wave.
So you didn't see Dan
calendar.
Terminus either when he was here.
No. Now I just.
You didn't see Laser Punk either, did you?
No, and I didn't go to the show on Saturday either. But I was working on stuff for the live set this weekend. I had to work on it.
I'm telling you, and I was telling Kyle this because Kyle was off doing a fantastical trip out east and missed the Magic Sword, Droid Bishop. So Chris filled in for him, which is North Innsbruck, for the interview with Droid Bishop. It was just a really fantastic show. And I would just describe Magic Sword as like a D&D campaign come to life. Basically, the music is very 80s epic, fantasy.
The videos I saw you guys posting looked awesome.
Yeah, they're really amazing, and they kept the energy alive. And Droid is a little bit smooth. He gets the ladies. You could tell he's a ladies man. He has a kind of this smooth aspect of what he does.
Synth for the ladies.
For the ladies.
Synth for her.
Synth for her. Yeah, exactly. He was fantastic and a great guy to talk to. Magic Sword was kind of weird because they didn't hang out after the show. They went off to the green room, and they were and I ended up seeing what they looked like in real life after hanging out the whole time.
They were wearing the
the hoods and the stuff, and they kept their mystery about them. Where Droid was out afterwards immediately, before and after, talking to anyone that wanted to talk to him. He stayed super late signing any autograph, talked to anybody that wanted to talk to him. He really put himself out there, and he's really just a nice guy. He's easy to talk to. So
that's cool.
Where Magic Sword were I ended up talking to him, but it's they're like, oh shit, you
made us.
You have seen my face. Prepare to die.
Yeah, we're no longer the keeper and in this kind of thing. They're like, so that was, Droid is good shit. But the show is amazing, both things, and I think I feel like the sweet spot is two artists.
Yeah,
I'm feeling anything more than, and I'm sorry, there's 3 guys playing on Saturday. But
if we talk about the December show, there's 5 of us.
Fucking holy shit, yeah.
I'm gonna do a 10-minute set just to warm everyone up. Do 2 songs.
Difference being is obviously Saturday is a half an hour set.
Yeah.
Per.
Yeah.
Which is very reasonable. If
half
you
hour, 40 minutes, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. If y'all did an hour and a half sets a piece,
I don't have enough songs, sir. I only have 10 songs. I couldn't do that long.
That's all right. Play your
Yeah.
10 songs
Yeah.
and be good.
But yeah, half hour,
Half an hour is reasonable.
We'll
Whereas,
always leave people wanting more with live stuff.
I agree. And that's with the Perturbator show. Like, it was just the two of them. There was no other bullshit opening act.
Yeah.
You got right into it. It was fantastic. And they're like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, you were just like, I want more of this shit.
And I was like really skeptical. The only time I had been to that venue before, up in that room, the loft area, I was seeing my friends and I went to see this electronic musician named Grum. I don't know if you guys know Grum. He's got this awesome album that came out in like 2010, 2011 called Heartbeats, and it's amazing, and it's fun and it's dancey. But since then, he has only been putting out like EDM DJ stuff.
Oh boy.
So we were like, is he gonna play songs off that album, like the good album? And I was watching most recent live sets, and it was mostly not that stuff, but we thought maybe. So it was one of those things where it was like doors at 8, show at 9, and he's still the only person listed. Grum, Skyway Loft, or whatever. So we get there like at 8:30 because we go, oh, we want to see it. And then they had 5 other DJs before him. The guy didn't even go on until midnight.
Jesus.
And we're up there drinking like vodka Red Bulls and stuff because we're like, oh, we're in the loft. We gotta, and like, I think of the 5 people that went, 2 of my buddies just left like a half hour in because one, we realized he isn't playing any of the stuff off the record we really like. And 2, it's way too late and everyone's too drunk. It was just, I was like, I was really concerned that this show was going to be like, that says it's only 2 people, but really is it going to be like 7? I actually wrote Skyway and asked to open. I was like, why not? Why not just reach out and be like, if you need a local synthwave opener, I'll do it. And they never replied back.
No. I don't think that's how that
I don't
works.
think I would have fit in for that night either. I'm not aggressive enough.
Yeah, I think if you would have reached out directly to Grum, you probably would have had better success.
Yeah. No, this was for the Perturbator show.
Perturbator.
I reached out for that one.
So there was someone that backed out. That was the thing. Like, there was supposed to be a local opener to that show, and they never showed.
Well, it wasn't me because they never
back out of that.
they never offered me that show.
I would fake it just to make it so I could rub elbows with those guys.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a third, the opener to them both, because they were co-headliners, and it just ended up being Ghost and Perturbator, and I'm like, well, fuck it, whatever. This is great. Again, as you're saying, the only thing that would have made it better if his Carpenter Brute was part of that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then that would have been like, okay, I'm done. I could never see another Darkwave show again for that year, that month.
Be like the Once Upon a Time in Mexico thing. Like, the
Definitely.
greatest thing ever. And you gotta kill them.
Yep.
afterwards or
That's
kill
it. It's
yourself.
over.
Yeah, so that's like kind of like magic, because like both those artists now are blown up huge, like Perturbator and Ghost. So Ghost has kind of gone up in echelon as far as like record labels and like exposure goes. Perturbator he took a picture of like his crew, and he's got like a crew of like 15 or some shit working.
Wow.
Like,
He's French, right?
Yeah.
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 Magic Sword, who's considered an upper echelon synthwave artist, it's just them and one other dude. It's 4 people. So they tear down and set up their own shit.
Sure.
It's not some sort of tech. It's not some sort of stagehand. Yeah. It's them and one other guy that works the merch table that's like sort of the liaison between them and everybody else. And Perturbator has a crew of fucking 15. But you could tell the production value of that show like is insane. I'm like,
The Late Show.
I was just gonna say the
everything
lighting,
was-
from what I remember, was fucking off.
I've got a
the
few
hook.
videos from that I
Dude,
posted.
nuts.
It was very cool.
so it's gonna be. I'm curious about what this year is gonna hold. 2020 synthwave.
That's why I'm talking about a calendar. So I don't miss out on all these shows.
Yeah,
Synthwave
Apparently it's
advent
not
calendar.
getting
there you go.
every
There you
day
go.
you open up, it's another saxophone solo.
Let me ask you. Jesus.
Is it an alto or a tenor? What is it?
What is going on here? So let me ask you this: do you feel, comparative to the other projects that you've done, is there more momentum and more energy behind Night Audit than some of your other acts?
I don't know about momentum, because I think with me it's just when I have the time to do things. I know that the Astronomy's kind of like kind of on a hiatus right now, to be totally honest with you. We're not playing a lot of shows, and we're not writing. We released a full-length album last summer, and so we wanted to take some time before we sit down and do anything again. So I have time in the creative realm. If I'm going to work on something, it is going to be that. So technically, yes, I would say there's more momentum in this because it's the only music project I'm working on. So, which is good, but now it's about, I released a single in February. I released 2 tracks in August, and I keep going like, should I make an EP or an LP or something? And I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, when I finish a song, I just want to put
professional
it out.
opinion.
Yeah,
less is more.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put them out when I finish them. It's
or no. Wait for an album. Put together a hot album.
Okay.
Release the album. Don't chase the dragon on this.
Sure.
Don't release a track every month.
No,
don't
and
release an EP.
it's not that frequent.
Don't do any of that bullshit. Make an album. Make it tight. Because that's going to make a lasting impression over trying to like chase some sort of like prestige or like some sort of like attention grabber thing. Because like the artist, like you think about like Com Truise, he releases like iteration to the new, how many was there, like a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years between, and we had a dry spell. We didn't really have anything in between.
It's like he does album EP kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Release the music how you want to release it.
I mean, ultimately do what you want to
Yeah.
do. But
like the collection for the first album was kind of, I was sitting on a lot of demos, and that's kind of what rose to the top and went, it's 7 tracks. I think that's the least you can have for an LP is 7, according to Spotify. And then since then it was like, stuff comes up and I'll go like, I really want to finish this. And then I go, does this jive with this track? You know what? Screw it. I'll just put it out. But I mean, you're not wrong. I do like a tangible, I would love to release something on vinyl. I just know there's lots of money involved with that.
yeah, that's a very
money.
unfortunate aspect of that is there's lots of money to be spent on.
I mean, if the Nitro Wave thing, goes the way we want it to go, we might get an audience more so we can do kind of like the Patreon thing or help support or that kind of stuff. So
we could talk after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, vinyl's sort of like, especially what's interesting in the synthwave community, that vinyl is like the holy grail, the ultimate validation of you as an artist. If you release your shit in vinyl and it's like it sells out and it's a thing, and most of these runs with synthwave, would you say that the average, Kyle, is like 200-ish?
Somewhere around 200, I would say.
200
is the average release.
Is like if that sells out, like you're fucking hot shit.
Yeah. If you sell out within like a day, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're onto something. It's because it's either like you're either selling out in a day or you're not selling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I have plenty of copies of my old band's records in boxes still.
Right.
That
Yeah,
came
yeah, I
out in
remember that.
2012 because we got 500 copies and we probably sold 100 maybe.
But I feel like the best opportunity, like if you're talking about physical media, you're talking about a ravenous group of folks, synthwave is the way to go. I think that's like the biggest vinyl hungry community that exists. I mean, other than maybe horror movie soundtracks,
Yeah.
video game soundtracks.
Those are, I would say, synthwave and video game soundtracks on vinyl are the big things right now. But then my outlook on that may be a little bit different because of those are the 2 things that I'm really into. And
Yeah.
all
I'm in
really
the same
seeing-
boat too. Like the only things I buy on vinyl now are either synthwave or horror movie soundtracks.
Yeah,
don't
I
have any
think
video
horror
game stuff.
movies are like the other thing, because you're not necessarily into that, but those are the other things that I like, is Death Waltz Records and a few other, like that's what they do. They do horror movie soundtracks, and like North Innsbruck, if you look at his
It's all that.
record collection, it's mostly horror movie soundtracks. That's just what he does.
Get those emails from Mondo and you're just like, oh man, I don't have enough money for all this.
The only thing I've spent as far as records from Mondo is the Hellraiser 1 soundtrack. I bought the Lament Configuration box set.
Nice.
And I have both versions. I have the misprinted version and I have the correct version. But I don't really pursue a lot of... I've the Hellraiser 2 soundtrack, which is not through them. But other than that, I'm not really... I want the Blade Runner soundtrack. I want an original pressing of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
That's like the next thing for me to find that out in the wild. Like that's my next hunt. Otherwise, I'm not really collecting it.
Sure.
I'm not collecting it.
I know you're not.
He's selling them. He's got to get rid of them. You gotta go.
Well,
No, I gotta get rid of the Laserdisc. I gotta get rid of it.
I mean, is the Laserdisc thing still a super niche, like particular thing, or
Man, there's groups out there. So like I was just on vacation. I was out in Boston, and one of my friends out there is like a hardcore Laserdisc fan, and is
Yes, he
buying
is.
these crazy players that are like the best ones ever made that retailed for like $8,000 when they came out and shit like that.
what is he paying for him?
And it's still too much, no matter what the price
it's a Laserdisc
is.
player.
$500.
So it's
I think I got my Pioneer one off eBay for like $40 or something like that.
And I mean, I have a rather unique one right now because it also has a little area so you can put basically a module in it to play Sega Genesis video games.
That's cool.
So there's that.
It's like the GameCube that was a DVD player.
That was the
thing?
Panasonic
Yeah.
Q.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a laser active.
Oh.
So it gives you the option to do that. And it's like, I have this thing. It's really cool. It's really niche. Like, yeah. But do I really do anything with it?
Yeah. I feel that same way honestly, even about vinyl sometimes, because it's like, I love owning records. I love listening to records, but I haven't been doing a lot of it recently. It's that like, gotta sit down and put it on and enjoy it. I feel like I just don't take that time anymore. So it's been hard to justify putting a lot of money into buying.
As a person who has no motivation to do anything anymore, like the vinyl record aspect is really attractive because I can just put one on and I don't have to like invest any more energy in it. I just have to sit there and stare at a wall.
Yeah.
So instead of staring at a wall in silence, now I can do it to a soundtrack.
Yeah. No, I just feel like the time I have at home when I'm not working on stuff or doing something or have to be someplace, I want to just tune out. I'm coming to that point where I feel like I'm putting on a movie I've seen 100 times or I'm putting on a show I've seen before and I'm not even paying attention to it, which is bad. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be a little more active in my listening and media consumption.
No, not necessarily. I disagree. There is a...
This is what my therapist says. So.
Oh, well, then fuck, I'm wrong. Sorry, never mind.
No, just go ahead.
I was going to say, like, if you're working on other things, it could subliminally influence you because you have... If it's something you've seen a million times, like, you have all the cues in your brain, like music notes or cues or certain visual images, like, are already burnt into your brain.
Yeah.
So that can, invoke a feeling or a thing that could help with something else going on that you're working on. Like if you're trying to capture a particular mood and you're watching Twin Peaks and you've seen them both seasons 5.5 million times, like it's very easy to like set yourself in that mode just with very limited like exposure to that particular thing. You don't have to get into an entire episode. It's not new. It's not whatever. You just... Again, capture us. Like Akira, you're saying you can never watch it again. Like actual pay attention to it, nothing else going on. You're stuck at a movie theater. I agree with that. That seems like torture. At this point in time in my life, I don't think I could ever watch Akira, like pay $8 to be stranded in a movie theater to watch that ever again. But if it's playing in the background, I'm doing other stuff.
Gotcha.
I know the shorthand. I know every scene in that movie so well that it instantly kind of sets me into that mood, that mode, whatever you want to say, into that particular thing I like.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be like fully engaged with it to get whatever I need out of it.
Yeah.
That was my particular thing. So like make music, you want to capture a kind of a mood or a mindset, throw the thing on the background. It's there. You're not really paying attention to it. You're just catching maybe slight audio cues from it. It
means to still influence in a way.
Yeah,
give you some
exactly.
Sort of,
Subliminal influence. It's fine.
Excuse me. Yeah. Good point.
That's
Good
my
point.
thought.
Good point.
I'm not a licensed therapist, so I couldn't say if that's correct or not. That's my opinion. which is what the show is. It's just a bunch of opinions. So
Yeah.
it's
Got
fine.
a lot of those.
A lot of
Over
them.
here.
A lot of them between the two of us. Attention to Poor Bastard listeners. We need your help. Funding your show is not cheap. We don't use sponsors, which means this show is 100% self-funded. We want to continue to bring you great content and drive new ways to engage with you as listeners. This includes merchandise, exclusive interviews, plus everything that makes this show what it is. Please help us by contributing to our Patreon page. There you'll find tiers of all levels and exclusive bonus content. And lastly, and mostly, we want to thank you, the listeners. What else do we have to say about all the things?
It's a good thing we took a break right at
The end of the show. Yeah. Good and liquored up and sick and jet-lagged. Well, not really necessarily jet-lagged, but...
I wish I'd known. I heard that you like Thrill Me. I would have sent you that one.
That is a hot track.
I heard that's the one you like.
Let's get into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny because like I talked to Chris about it. I'm like, Kyle really likes this.
It's
track.
not the one that Spotify likes as far as like what's getting plays. That one and No Escape, no plays.
Here's the thing: you need to trust Kyle and his instincts.
Sure. I mean, I like that song a lot. I was telling Eric last night that I've been trying to find a way to put that clip from Night of the Creeps into something for so long, and I finally found it. It just worked out. It was great, and it was in the same key like as the music, like the sting before we see the weird zombie, and he says the quote. I was like, it was meant to be. I'm just gonna make this whole song's gonna be the Tom Atkins Thrill Me thing. That's it.
It's beautiful. It's a work of art. I really like it. Like I really do. So
And you have no idea how much of a compliment that is, because Kyle doesn't like anything.
I don't know. Sounds like he likes a lot of stuff.
it's Eric's.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad it resonated with you.
Yeah, it resonated. So, we're going to change the Nitrowave sampler up a little bit.
I'm going to put Thrill
to
Me on
include
instead.
that because of your particular interest in it. So that's great. What do you like about it so much? What resonates for you?
Well, for one, it's cool. And two, it's really great. And three, it hits all the right things for me. Yeah. So, it's got it all. Like, I'm not a big, like, cinematic synth person. But I do like it when, people throw appropriate movie quotes in. So, appropriate. I feel that works very well.
I try to do them not too much. I mean, they're there. It's kind of part of it. I mean, it's definitely the niche I'm doing with it, but it's not in. I don't think they're in every song.
No, and
the ones that are used, it's quick, it's brief, it's not too long.
it's not overused.
Yeah.
It's not underused.
Yeah.
It's done just to the right amount.
Which was when I've my friend Adam Tucker, who mastered the albums at Signature Town Studios in Richfield. He was kind of like, he's like, you're getting into some territory here, man, where you don't want to overdo it with these audio clips. I think you're good, but watch yourself as you're writing stuff in the future. I'm like, all right. And he made a good point. So you don't want to do too much.
And see, like, I tend to like stuff a little on the darker side, so
That's probably
part.
the darkest one I got. It's up there. That one and what is the one? I don't even know the names of my own songs. I know them by the videos I've made for them. It's the one where I use a lot of clips from Terminator. Night Vision. That one's a little dark.
And then the other part is, I don't know if you would exactly call it a solo, but the solo in it is... the solo to the best of my abilities. Again, like, my keyboard skills are okay. That took a lot of takes. But it's like with all the people, in Nitrowave TC now, like, I want to go out there and I want to actively, hear what they're doing, know what it's all about, find all the things. And right away when I heard that song, I was like, this is something I'm really into. I really like this.
Awesome.
So
that's great.
That's my poor example of saying how much I like this particular song that you have created, and I appreciate it.
And for those that don't know, and for you, obviously, you don't know how much of a high compliment or high praise that is. I mean, that like coming from Kyle, that's a pretty, like that's a top echelon. Like that's an 8.
It is up there. I actively hate everything. So if I like it right away, then it's good news.
This is good. This is good. More songs like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's what he's saying. He likes songs like that.
I mean, that would be good for me. I don't know if that's good for everyone else, but I'm just saying that's.
Yeah. It's whatever mood I'm writing in, you know. It comes out sometimes.
So hopefully you're playing that
Yeah.
for the show. All right. Yes.
Now, yeah, just for you because that reaction. I mean, how could anyone?
It's exciting, actually. I've only done one show before, and I just had the 7 tracks. So it was just, that's what I'm playing. I got 7 tracks. I get to choose this time. There's some things that are not going to get played. Maybe a few. So I'm excited. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. But
So you play with obviously like a visual component as well to what you're doing, and as you're saying on the other show that you like project over the top of yourself.
Yeah. So I have like I've got, it's not a screen, but it's kind of like if you're doing like a photo shoot, it's like that just plain white backdrop behind me. And then in front, I've got like a DJ facade wall. It's kind of a cube, which is also white. And then the projector is projecting onto all of that. So it's one big image with the music, and then I'm kind of standing in it. Right now, I'm kind of spinning the stuff. I'm not playing a whole lot yet. It's going to progress as I learn more about Ableton and get into the realm where I can start controlling all the parts. But right now, I still have the means of manipulating the overall tracks and doing filter sweeps. I've got a microKORG set up so I can play some of the lines as well. It's kind of, the idea was it's more about the overall, the visuals with the audio as opposed to seeing me up there noodling around on a laptop or something. So I almost not, me being in the middle of it is less about me being part of it. I'm trying to actually hide amongst it all.
Gotcha.
It's the tree in the forest.
Yeah, exactly.
I get
and
you.
A friend of mine and I were talking forever about like, should I wear a white shirt? So I'm also, it's projecting on me.
You should wear a completely green suit.
If I want to be so disconnected from it, should I be wearing a mask? And then it's like, we got into this conversation about DJs with masks and if that's overplayed. And if I did, what would it be?
Don't be that guy.
I didn't do it. We decided not to do it, but it was a conversation I had in depth to be like, maybe I should. What would it be? What would be cool? Is it
recently
cool?
had this conversation with another artist.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Tried to dissuade them from that
I didn't do
path.
And the only thing I was upset about is someone was like, you need to make more eye contact when you're doing it. I'm like, but I'm trying to not be up there at all. I don't want to look at people.
God, I was like,
going off of that, I'm friends with the people in this band called Proto Martyr.
Mm-hmm. Name drop.
And their singer, like, he has bad eyesight, and he purposely takes his glasses off when he goes on stage so he can't see what's going on or look at it. And it's just like, so smart. Like, that's a perfect move.
And I don't have a problem, like, connecting with audience members, like playing in a band and playing guitar or singing in a band, like, absolutely. But in this particular instance, it's just like, I'm not part of the equation. I have to be up here to make sure things are working. I have the means of editing the video live, doing filters and stuff. I have a means of changing the music live, but like I don't want to be there at all, really.
So the focus really is different than
a
traditional
groups. Yeah.
You're really about the whole experience of what the music invokes, as opposed to like you being the center of attention.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. That seems to be a fairly common theme with synthwave.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not Ollie Ride, maybe the Midnight. There's
that guy's got pipes, and like you want to see him up there performing. So that's like one thing. But I don't want to sound negative about it, but it's like when there's just one person up there, how entertaining can it really be? And I'm not putting anyone down when I say that. It's just like, I know I would be boring if it was just a table and a bunch of gear and me going,
right, because you're not dancing, you're not gyrating. Like who wants?
Nobody wants to see me dance. There's plenty of things in the way, so you can't see that.
But there's something to be said about people who are actually turning knobs and doing.
Absolutely, and
I'm
I'm not putting that down at all. Like this music in the way I'm doing it live right now is not interesting yet in that realm, in that capacity. It will be as I'm learning more software and have a means of doing more of that stuff and manipulating things live. But I think right now I'm more interested in kind of that overall visual and audio experience.
But I don't know. With synthwave fans, I don't think there's any kind of expectation for anything.
Which is a good point.
It's a grab.
It's the old West, I guess.
We know what is involved with doing the music, and just like the biggest person, like Perturbator.
Yeah.
Like he's up there, he's at a stand with a keyboard, keyboards multiple. Yeah. He can't do a whole lot either. I don't think anybody expects anything more than that. So there's something to be said about that too.
Good point.
Like I don't expect you to be over the top.
I feel like I'm getting too negative. I apologize.
Oh no. On this show, I don't think there's any such thing.
Good point.
You can just keep going.
I think it'd be interesting incorporating, because I'm a guitar player, finding a way to incorporate that in the future stuff and then playing that live along with things. But we'll see.
I've definitely thought about that too.
Yeah.
But then I also think about how I haven't played my guitar in 6 years.
So
I don't even know if that's a thing.
Yeah. I just haven't been inspired with this music and this genre to throw a guitar. I know that people do it. It's on all saxophones, guitars. It's all in there. For whatever reason, I liked working within just the confines of what I have at my desk. It's all in Logic. I own a handful of actual synthesizers, and they're not. I didn't use any of them. I was like, let's just do it all in here. Let's see what I can do. Let's see what trouble I can get into.
Well, it's easier.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's that too.
Should we finish out with Nitrowave?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting concept of the musical community, but it's not really. It seems to be popping up. Different little synthwave communities popping up in different communities. What about Nitrowave appeals to you, or like the concept of it?
I think that's the support to kind of find those shows. I think it was hard, even thinking about. I did the one show I opened up for my band because we needed another artist.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm just going to capitalize upon this and just do it. But that was me opening up for traditional 4-piece bands. But I was like, I don't know anyone else that does this kind of stuff. So I think the community that it brings, and meeting these other artists. And I said last night on the interview, was like, I thought we were just getting together to talk shop. Like, hey, what do you play? What are you using? I didn't realize that there's this grand plan.
Yeah, you didn't realize that Chris and I were involved.
I didn't. No, I really didn't. I thought we were just getting together to shoot the shit and talk about artists we like. I mean, we are doing that too.
Yeah.
But there was also this bigger, there is a community of this, and we can support each other in finding shows and getting people to listen to playlists that we're on and helping out with social media platforms and all that kind of stuff. And it's great. I had no idea what I was getting into.
So you don't feel duped that we tricked you into this?
No. I feel bad that I have not been at a lot of the meetings, but I do my best to be in touch via other mediums. So
yeah, I mean, you're pretty responsive. So yeah. I mean, that's really what.
No one hasn't been able to get a hold of me, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising how many folks that are actually in it, and obviously there's
more since I initially met everyone.
Oh yeah, and
there's
there continues to be
know.
more.
Yeah.
And you think about a little, community like Minneapolis, and having tracked electronic music for such a long time, like this is the most like interactive group that I've been a part of and known, and just as you said, like booking shows, like. It's amazing. We've got another 2 after December.
Yeah.
We've 7 in a span of 8 months, 7 shows booked, something like that, 7 or 8 shows.
It's just such a different environment. Like I've been playing in bands in Minneapolis, for 10 plus years, and it's kind of like usually everyone's out for themselves. It's just like no one else is looking out to get you shows,
right? Unless
Unless you're big enough. You get to a point where people are asking you to play with them. Mm-hmm. And other than that, you are reaching out to anyone that plays. Can we play with you guys? Would you want to play a show with us? Would you want to do this? You're reaching out to venues. And for, regular bands, 4 people, let's say, it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
for 4 people to do all this stuff, especially with Twitter and with Facebook and with Instagram and reaching out for shows and getting everything set up online to get your music on streaming services. It's just so much stuff. And it's nice to have like such a large community to help with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it, and again, it goes down to North Innsbruck he's so anal retentive when it comes to like details and being organized and gathering information and making it readily accessible to everyone in the community and not just the Minneapolis community, but to anyone that's in the synthwave community. Yeah. He will help you out. So it doesn't matter if you're in Finland or, because some of this idea, Nitrowave, the genesis of it, started almost a year ago, really.
Okay.
Chris and I had some conversations, and he was having conversations with some folks in Finland, and it sort of like started to brew, and then he got the whole thing going ultimately, and it's amazing how well organized this whole thing is. It's so, with how many people are involved, and like people have all these roles.
A lot of cat herding.
It's
working out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of cat herding, but there's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of like support. So as you're saying, I was like, oh, it's typically like it's just about you and looking out for yourself if you're a whatever band and like screw everybody else. Where this is like, hey, you want to be in a show, you need access to this, you need to know pricing for that, you need a hookup with this particular person, like all of that stuff is readily available.
Yeah. I'm not used to it. And I'll admit I'm a little cynical in terms of the music scene in general.
Which is fair. It's totally fair, as you should be. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's a completely legitimate response.
Such kindness at first was like, are these guys for real? Are they serious?
What are we plotting to do to you?
Yeah, what are we plotting?
Are you guys going to ask me to buy Amway or something?
Right.
I would like to talk to you about a timeshare when you have some time.
Can I pay for it with a song?
Yeah, exactly. And that's not really the thing. And what I'm finding is that that's a pretty universal consensus with other communities that you're talking to across the United States or the world. And that's to be the cynical person, if you've been in the music industry and done other various things, it's really easy to sink into that cynical worldview where like this thing is not that.
Sure.
We talked about a little bit last night about just the community and what distinguishes it from other particular things. So it's exciting. And again, we talk about the shows that are being lined up and the support and community and building all this stuff and, going to shows and talking to folk and there's this enthusiasm that I really haven't seen in a lot of other things. It seems more democratic, maybe. It doesn't matter if you're actually making the thing. If you love the thing, you have as much equal footing in some regards as the person that's making the music.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
What Wu-Tang? Synthwave is for the children.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I was just gonna ask you for your opinion, and
there you go.
There it is. You dropped it.
I don't know. There is something about it. It's very inclusive. Whether it's groups on Facebook or whatever, most of them are pretty awful.
Yeah.
But the synthwave groups are really great.
Yeah.
And is that because you have like some very specific niche things that you're into in communities, and like, do you feel like the synthwave is the most different?
Oh, absolutely. All the other ones are like poisonous. They're terrible. How bad they are. Yeah. It's just, and the people are awful, but the synthwave community
it's full of Chris's.
Everyone wants to be friends. Everyone loves what everyone's doing. Everyone wants to be inclusive. No one's a dick.
Yeah, I have really...
So it's just, everything is working out well in everyone's favor, really.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing because you could talk to anyone, again, whether you're talking to someone like Droid Bishop or someone that's just starting out, there's that same kind of like respect and mutual connection that you have, whether you're been doing it forever or you're just starting out. Everyone has that same kind of vibe, and I really enjoy it. I've met more friends through the synthwave community than I have in my real life interactions. Sure. So it's an interesting contrast.
I mean, if you're going to relate that to having like one friend and now having like 3 friends.
No, I'm not. But I mean, it's a similar ratio. I mean, if you want to, talking strictly math, yeah. All of a sudden having the internet as a friend. All of them.
But even there's people I follow on Twitter that I talk to that I have seen in real life and been like, I don't want to be that guy. Hey, we're friends on Twitter. How's it going? That to me, it's so awkward, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but for whatever reason, it happens.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And so like this again, I was like, I'm making a big step. I'm gonna go meet these people from Twitter. I'm doing
these
it.
Twitter folk.
Yeah. It was great. I mean, there's nothing scary about it.
And now you're here.
Yeah.
And now you're
sitting with us.
Yeah. Hello.
So from what I've heard from multiple people, and not just 2 people, that
also I should preface, it could be that I'm just terribly awkward. That's totally a thing.
I mean, it feels like it's a whole scene for awkward people, so you're fine.
Yeah.
But the consistent feedback that I've gotten from people around is like Nitrowave is one of the most well organized, most out there communities, and then it's number 1 is always Helsinki, so Juha and Peter and those guys doing their stuff. But and then after us, it's everybody else, which is a weird thing because like I don't really feel like we're doing very much.
It is a lot though. It really is.
But just the sense of like when you've got 10 people, 10 artists getting together, and that's the other thing. It's a crazy thing to think about. Like you think about artists in the music industry, and again, it's like about yourself and getting yourself out there. But then you've got a bunch of other people that are doing the same thing you're doing, helping you along, as opposed to fighting to get to where you need to be. Yeah. It's a weird, it's a very strange environment. I mean, would you agree with that? Because you used to play in a metal band, Kyle. So
everything's completely different with this.
Yeah.
But yes, what you were saying about everyone for themselves, everyone's on your own, definitely.
And I get that. Like, I'm not trying to put down the scene, but it's just like no one is looking to get you shows. No one is looking to put your music out unless you have that crazy following or you're the it band at the time. And getting 4 people in a band, I'm just thinking about like with this Trying to Meek, like to get posters made and shows booked and Twitter posts for all these things. It's just with 4 people. Even that was always like, okay, who's gonna do this? I guess I can do it.
And then there's a community where each one of those things is delegated and organized, and like it's all very like there's a strict curriculum of like how it should be and what it looks like, and everyone's involved. But there's people that are like designated those particular tasks. So it's like you get to be a part of a thing, but then to not have to worry about all the minutia of all that stuff, which is pretty amazing. Like there's one person that gets to have a little piece of that burden, but for like 10 people, which is pretty cool. Which is happening, again, it's not just our particular scene, but it's, and I think that's one of the things that I'm really drawn to. Like there's the synthwave music aspect of it, which I love. And then there's this community aspect, which is I really love, and it's so different than other things that I've been a part of in my various things that I've been involved in my life, which is really exciting. And as I said before, I've met more friends through this. Like there's a shorthand. I was saying last night in the other interview. There's like when you say you like synthwave, that's shorthand. Like I like this guy. Like it's pretty much like I'm probably gonna have something to be able to talk to with this person if I say I like synthwave. Like you understand instantly, like you like a certain set of things that set you in the right mindset to be like, I can understand this person's worldview, and that's all you need to say.
Just waiting for the synthwave argument. It's like saxophone belongs in synthwave. There's like saxophone doesn't belong in it, and they get in a fight.
Yeah.
People are like on
Pineapple
the internet,
doesn't belong on pizza. Yes, it
I'm
does.
a purist with my synthwave. I
Talking
put
of-
saxophones in it.
like new wave or not new wave. Excuse me, new metal's not real metal. Get the fuck out of here. We're gonna have internet arguments about
I will
it.
say, if we're talking about genres and stuff, I remember seeing an article where it broke out like all the different subgenres of synthwave, and I'm like, no, just it's too much. It's too much. Can't it just be synthwave? Like with just like Venn diagrams of all the different artists and all the different sub genres, and it's like, okay, sure, because I don't know where I fall in that. I feel like in that community, I need to be like, well, it's really it's more of a dark wave thing or whatever. It is.
Postmodern.
Yeah, and I'm just like, synthwave, or retrowave. I don't know what people call it. Future synth. That was a thing on Reddit.
Retro wave.
Yeah.
Is it
Chill
future
wave.
synth or retro?
Yeah,
what
I don't
the
know
fuck
what I'm
is
calling it. It's like the one with it's always got the same beat. That's what I'm doing.
Synthwave.
Yeah, synthwave. There you go.
Yeah, you're a purist.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Also, I remember the band that I saw at Fine Line. It was Deaf Heaven. Deaf Heaven.
Okay.
In case you want to go back and edit that in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just
Do that.
It took that long.
I'm
for me
not
to
going to
remember.
do that.
Yeah.
It's not happening. We'll just let people discover that
Yeah.
after 2 hours of chatting. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
Come see the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amsterdam this Saturday.
So there's the sort of the thing we're all building up to is the December 15th show.
Yeah. 14th or 15th?
14th or 15th. It's one of those days.
I should probably figure out what day it is.
I can tell you because I have the poster that
You
Jasper
have
Mitchell Jasper made.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The palindrome, but not.
It is December 14th.
So December 14th, if you are in the Minneapolis metro area and you are into synthwave, you should check out the Can Wonderland Synthwave show that is coming up. There's 5 groups.
Let's see. Let's read the flyer here. D-Notive,
Wow.
Bad and Rad, Galaxy 80,
Damn.
North Innsbruck,
Damn.
and yours truly, Night Audit.
Wow.
That sounds like a show I'd want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can play some mini golf when you're done.
No,
Or
you
throw
would
some
never be
hatchets.
able to do that there because they purposely make it so you can't.
So that's the show that we're building up to, and there's obviously some stuff after that. And again, if you're going to catch us, anyone listening is going to catch us after the show.
Yeah.
But Saturday the 9th is going to be the Amsterdam, which I'm excited about. I might show up. I might record it. I might broadcast it later. It's hard to say what I'm going to do. I haven't decided yet.
Yes
I'm committed.
to all of the above on that.
Yeah. It might be a Night Ride FM later for people's listening pleasure. But yeah, I don't have anything to say. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Sean, for coming on.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me. It's been
Really appreciate it. It's good to get you on finally. And again, this is Eric.
This is Kyle.
great. This is Sean from Night Audit.